Yo, what up, everybody? It's John Escudero. I'm here with the boys. The boys are back, not in town, but on a restream.
No, three separate towns.
Three separate towns. Just the boys are spread all over America. Say what's up, boys. Nick, Greg, in that order.
Yo, what's up? I was just taking a sip of some iced coffee because it's very late and I need to maintain my caffeinated self in order to talk to you fine people in the chat. So, hey, welcome. Glad to be here.
No, Greg? Oh. He said, get the fuck out of here. He said, he
just had enough of you.
He looked us in the eye and just
chat said no.
Can you hear us, Greg?
Yes, I can.
Oh, very good. Hi, say hi to everyone.
Hello, everyone. I think the new intro is sometimes a little too powerful for the stream on my end.
Oh no, that's not good. That's not good at all. All we're doing is playing a video. But yeah, man, it's another week of pro wrestling. How are you guys doing?
It's another week of pro wrestling.
It's been a decent week of pro wrestling, I'll say that. Honestly,
yeah, all around. I mean, I don't think any show has really underdelivered. I think this has been a solid week leading up to what's going to be a very iconic pay-per-view that hopefully won't have any more dark clouds over it.
Well, I was going to say, not only have these shows been decent, but so far nobody has done anything stupid, as Nick has alluded to.
Yet. There's still time.
We still got Britt Baker walking around.
Oh no! Can we talk about that line? Because a few people didn't care for that one.
Oh, the Britt Baker thing?
Yes.
She is well she on Dynamite, she kind of cooked Sasha Banks earlier when she hit her with the you were 1 of 4, I was 1 of 1.
Yeah.
If they didn't like that, that's funny as hell.
No clapbacks from Mercedes on Dynamite.
The immediate reaction I saw from it was somebody mentioning that like that she had Rebel and Hater, and I was like, I feel like those two came later.
Yeah, I and they weren't nearly like Hater came after Britt was already over.
Yeah,
and Rebel wasn't nearly as like she could have not been there, and it would have been the same exact thing. Like
there were a lot of times she wasn't there, especially later on.
Saying, and then her knees and all that, that's interesting. But
remember when everyone was simping over Rebel and TNA?
I think a bigger issue is how badly Mercedes kind of has been exposed promo-wise.
I was trying to pop Nick over here.
I was gonna say it's not like she was ever.
That's
nice Dunkin' iced coffee.
Iced coffee gang represent.
Greg, you gotta move that mic. It's right in the stream of your air.
It's interesting you say that, mostly just because I'm surprised nobody knew this the whole time.
But that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say I don't think she was ever the best promo, but always a great wrestler.
She was always the worst promo of the 4.
And
I remember getting arguments about this in We Love Pro Wrestling, but
there's a lot of arguments that happen in general in We Love Pro Wrestling.
That's true. That's very true. But I fought this hard. I was like, she's the worst promo of the 4 of them, and people couldn't understand why I thought Becky Lynch was better, and I was just like, wait and see.
I can't recall any single time I've ever been like, wow, that Sasha Banks promo, that was everything. That was fire.
Right, but also, like, doesn't she just sound so wooden?
There's like a quality-wise thing where I feel like Sasha cuts promos, but it's one of those things where you don't believe in the promo necessarily. You're just kind of reciting lines.
Yeah.
it's a WWE conditioning, so to speak. But like she only learned because she's not an actor, right? She always wanted to learn how to wrestle, and then the acting came after, right? So she has the wrestling down pat, but whatever promo skills, quote unquote, she might have learned, she learned them from fucking Dusty Rhodes and FCW and WWE's curriculum of lessons. And when she speaks over here in a land of say whatever the fuck you want, it sounds like, I mean, obviously, to a point, but it sounds very, very wooden. Where I feel like maybe as on a WWE program, amongst other performances like that, maybe it doesn't stick out as much as it's sticking out here.
That's exactly what I think is the thing. Was in WWE, she was amongst a lot of other people who might not have been the strongest at promos, but it had that wooden style. It had that sense of just hear your lines, just memorize them, act them out, boom.
Yeah, I think the Jennifer Peppermint thing, they kind of ported over some WWE behavior. Like, I'm sure she hands Mercedes a script, and Mercedes is trying to deal with it Hollywood style, but it's not coming across very well on screen. And I think it showed a lot tonight with Britt coming out there and Britt doing her bigger promo and kind of she didn't hurt her.
It's
oh, Mac has got all that noise going on. How you doing, brother?
Actually, you hear a lot of noise?
No, but you're good because we control your volume.
Well, I'm trying to get my headphones to work. Give me 1 second, okay?
Oh yeah, hell yeah! Our boy Mac in the house. Mo.
Full team, and he's alive.
Let's go. I'll get him out of the way for a sec. But
he was here.
No, I'm glad you brought that up because I thought about that earlier. I'm really sad about it because she wasn't able to wrestle when they brought her in. So it was like 4 weeks of really bad Mercedes promos. And we were talking about that before. It affected the way people see
bad,
the
I'm
run.
all blurry right now.
It affected the way people see the run as a whole. And she came in with so many haters. So that's
and also
hello.
Like, as a preview, people were also very critical of her of the stuff she was doing to promote the Stardom matches, and it's like yeah, some of that's weird.
I thought that the guitar thing was probably more charismatic than she's done anything in AEW so far. But to answer Jimbo's question, Jordynne Grace is still currently with TNA, but she had mentioned that she's gonna be shutting down her OnlyFans soon, and I was like, interesting. That's a sign. Interesting. I would keep an eye on Jordynne Grace, and I would expect her to our boy Mac with a significantly less amount of background noise. It's very awesome. But I would expect Jordynne Grace to be WWE bound. Like 10,000%. Like I think they poached the shit out of her.
She's WWE built.
Oh, they can crash into each other.
You have too many people again.
Go ahead, Greg.
Greg.
Oh, we lost Greg in the war.
I gotta say that one was just interesting. Wait, what?
Just keep going, Greg, keep going.
That one's interesting to me just because it's always that career choice of just like, do I stay on top here or do I throw myself into that sea of what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't think it's I don't think it's a very smart choice, or at least if you care about furthering your career, to want to stay there when there's so much interest in you in the biggest company in the world, right? Like, why would you ever want to stay in TNA?
She's already run through the TNA roster like 4 times.
True.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, that's weird. I thought be more. I thought it'd be more squares. But
you would think.
But yeah, as for Jordynne Grace, I'd keep an eye out on that. How you doing, Mac?
I'm feeling better, man. So I think I should address the elephant in the room of what happened on the SmackDown
This
cast.
fucking guy dies. I leave the SmackDown chat. I leave the SmackDown stream for 5 minutes. Mac
Yeah,
dies.
dude. So Nick and I, we're doing the SmackDown podcast, and maybe about I don't know, 30 minutes into it, my body temperature just like skyrocketed, and I started sweating, and I couldn't stop sweating, and then my back started hurting me, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, damn, I'm like, I feel like shit. So then I told Nick, I said, hey man, I'm gonna shut off my camera for a minute, try to walk this off. Shut off my camera for the entire show. After the show was over, I jump scared Nick because I had my shirt off. Nick's like, whoa.
His shirt off with the Sandman pants on, at least.
Yeah, with the Sandman pants on. All I was missing was the cigarette and the cane. But
yeah, right.
Disgusting.
So I said to Nick, I said, yeah, I was feeling pretty bad, but I'm feeling pretty good now. So Nick and I were talking about some projects that we might want to put together with DSR, and we went on our merry way. And then
WCW.
The next thing WCW. Then the next thing, 2 hours later, I send the group chat a picture of me hooked up to an IV at the hospital.
We were just like, oh my gosh.
So apparently what happened is I passed out at my house. Thank God I was at my parents' house because it was my mom's birthday the next day. So I was staying over so that I could just wake up there and go out. Woke up in the hospital. I had an IV in my arm. They were doing a blood pressure test on me. They said, we're going to send you for a CT scan. Got a CT scan. They go, you have a kidney stone the size of Arlington, Texas inside you that needs to get out.
Stop eating those fucking donuts.
So
no, hear me out though for a second. It's the middle of the night, or at least late Friday night. You passed out. Did you fall on the fucking floor or what? Like,
I was already on the floor. I was in so much pain. I was already on the floor.
Okay, because I was like, how did they know you were passed out, and why didn't they think you were sleeping?
That's one way to avoid the fall, yeah.
So what happened was, so I went upstairs and I started watching like old TNA or whatever, some shit.
That'll
Back
kill you.
started really hurting. Yeah,
That's what did it.
Yeah. So I fell at the bottom of the stairs, and I just remember going, help! Just like,
oh man.
Fucking Tom from Tom and Jerry yell.
yeah. So my dad ended up coming downstairs, and then I passed out, and the next thing I knew, I was in the hospital, and they were like, yeah, you have a kidney stone, you got to try to pass it. I went through 4 bags of morphine.
Jesus Christ.
Of morphine. Ooh. I went through 2 IVs, and I think I threw up maybe like 5 or 6 times, and they
fucking hell.
So then they gave me an OxyContin. I went home, I pissed it out, and I'm better now.
Good.
Oh, you got rid of it though. You know, I had a kidney stone. I had my first ever kidney stone earlier this year, and I was in pain one day. I went to the hospital. They gave me some drugs for it. I didn't know it was a kidney stone. I thought my appendix burst or something. I was like, this is it. I've never felt pain here before. And I went to the hospital. They're like, you got your kidney stone. This is your first ever kidney stone. This is common for people your age. They try to not make you feel fat, but you know it's because you're fat. and I'm like, how do you get rid of it, right? And they're like, oh, you can piss it out. They make it sound like the worst thing in the fucking universe. I'm scared I'm going to tear my dick open. And then I guess I never heard about it again. Like, it just disappeared. I must have pissed it out. Like, I don't know what it was just gone.
I was pissing blood for like,
Jesus.
For like 9 hours. And then,
what the fuck?
That was me after I got jumped and I got kicked in the kidneys.
Dude, but at least you got a fucking reason.
Right.
Well, the doctor said, he goes, the thing isn't round. He goes, it's kind of got jagged edges, so it's tearing through you. I was like,
that's horrible.
Great.
I don't want to hear about that.
Mac, I have been dying to ask you this question. How long after you and I stopped talking? Because we were off the air, but like still hanging out talking for like 20, 30 minutes afterwards.
Yeah.
How long after we hung up did everything happen?
Nick is keeping him on the air. And he's like desperately dying, and Nick is like, about the WCW podcast.
So,
he's like,
in 1996, from Mahler and Steve Dahl.
If you go back and you listen to that podcast, Nick's like, all right, Max, who's your mega star of the night? I was like, Jacob Fatu. Yeah, let's go. Come on, next fuck you. But no, Nick, it was about 15 minutes.
Okay, because I was thinking about like the idea that if you passed out while we were talking, oh my gosh, like I don't know where you're at. I'd be like, 911.
No, dude, but it was I'm better now, so I'm back at work as you can see. So,
Did you guys see that Rich Swann, I guess, got arrested earlier this year?
What now?
Sounds about right.
Again?
Yeah.
Oh, earlier this year, yes.
Just not one that we heard about though. When I say earlier this year, I mean like in June. I guess.
Really? Again?
Yeah. Intoxicated disorderly conduct.
Oh dear.
So he will be entering rehab immediately. What best wishes to him, and I hope he can get it together. I'm sure that he will.
Didn't he have a thing where he was arguing with Sue Young in the car?
Yeah.
And he kind of may have slapped her and then left her there. Yeah.
No, he put her in a headlock. Maybe allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
All this is allegedly.
Hold on, reportedly.
Reportedly, this happens. You put your wife in a headlock. What is it with their wife in a headlock? Good old rest hold.
Yeah.
Get her in the rest
Headlock, rest hold time.
Yeah.
Hold on to it for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Like, not to make light of it, but back in the day, drunken disorderly conduct in public was just par for the course for a pro wrestler.
That's true. Look up Juventud Guerrera in Australia. You're welcome for the stories.
Nick, was that the one? Nick, I heard a story about Juventud yesterday. Was it the same one where somebody threw something at him from the balcony? He went up, beat the shit out of the guy. And then when the police came, he was backstage. He had his mask off and kayfabed the cops and said that he had already left and fled the building.
It must have been so fun to kayfabe the
guy.
There's a lot of Juventud stories in general from
Juventud,
WCW, especially the Juice.
That's that dude in the mask. He left already.
The WWE stories where he's in the backstage being like, "Do you know who I am? I am as big as The Rock, and you will treat me with respect."
Oh god,
that's funny as hell.
And Super Crazy and Psychosis are doing that same thing. They're like, "We don't know that he's not with us."
So while we have everybody here, we might as well get into AEW All In, the card.
Does anyone want to? John, do you want to? Do you want to express Nananti Malu's question of who is the biggest flop out of the big four? Okada, Ospreay, Jay White, or Mercedes Moné?
I guess that depends on how you think about it, because it hasn't been long enough for either of the main three to really put a label on it. But you would clearly say Ospreay is the most valuable one right now.
Right, yeah, I'd say so.
Jay White fell into a position. I don't think it's a permanent one. I think it's a holding pattern. I think it's a holding place for him.
Plus, was able to hold like 9 titles at once.
That's very true. He also he pretty much had a big old world title feud and pay-per-view situation already. How you feel about it? My feelings may vary. But what about you guys? What did you think of this question?
My position is just that Ospreay is obviously in a massive main event position and doing good work. There's nothing wrong with him. Jay White, while is somebody I want in a bigger position, in my opinion, is doing good work. So I have no real complaints about the work he's doing. Okada is being put into a position which is, as John put, is the biggest holding pattern of the rest of them. And I could see why that would be considered a disappointment for certain people who know him, because if you came here looking for main event Okada, you ain't getting it anytime soon.
Yeah.
But other than that, you're left with Mercedes Moné, who just is the only one out of them I can say who's decidedly not been good.
Yeah, I think it's been long enough to say that Mercedes stuff so far hasn't been great or good or
Yeah.
even good. The wrestling, I think the match is Willow and who the fuck the I forgot her name. The one Puerto Rican luchador lady that she wrestled before Stephanie Valkyra at the pay-per-view. That was fire. The match with Stephanie Valkyra was weird, interesting. It wasn't
You
and
talk
then
about the
one
New
that she
Japan
had
stuff?
no, the one that she had with her at
Forbidden Door.
Forbidden Door. That's right.
I meant to like the Puerto Rican girl. Oh, you couldn't
No,
remember.
there was a dynamite. There was a dynamite
Zooxies.
right before Forbidden Door. Zooxies. She's very
Oh,
thick.
okay.
Yeah, they had a great
That is a
wrestling
name.
match.
And then she came back for a night.
There's 3 AEW matches out of I don't know what she had, like 5 maybe at most.
Yeah.
I've been like
1,
great,
2,
but
3, 4, 5, 6.
but beyond that, with Mercedes, they seem to be wanting to build stories around her, and she has more time to tell the stories. And I think the Brit one has suffered. I don't know if that's because Brit got suspended and was maybe missing from TV for a little while. I'm sure that's part of it.
The two big, powerful friends backstage hijacking the title and just doing their own thing together.
Yeah. And there's also
my-
Tony Storm and Mariah being
How was her match with Sheeta?
great. I like
Okay.
it, but then that
Not bad.
fucking finisher sucks.
Yeah.
Holy
The
shit,
DDT thingy?
dude! That shit is the worst. It comes in. The match could be excellent, and then you gotta go and you go through all this setup, early finish, and then nobody takes a convincing bump on this thing. Everybody takes the fucking featheriest because they're worried about fucking flipping into it. Like,
I feel like the
it's-
best one was the one that Kyrie took at the pay-per-view.
I was just thinking of that, Greg. Yeah.
yeah, but she's Kyrie.
Yeah, she's
Yeah, it's just so happens she's miles better than the rest of them.
That's a big
That's what
big
happens.
reason.
When you're goaded.
See, my thing about at least these 4, whatever they lack in like a specific area, they make up for in another area. So like
Yeah.
you have Okada. He doesn't particularly cut a good promo because he doesn't speak very good English. But I mean, he does. But you know what I'm saying. You know?
That promo last week with Claudio, I really like that.
Yeah, it was good. But I'm saying like we hadn't heard that before. He had up until that point. But Okada's wrestling and Okada's character right now is knocking it out of the park. Then you got Jay White, whose wrestling speaks for itself. His promos are great. He has a great gimmick. Then you got Ospreay, who's just so multifaceted. Like his promo work needed some work like 2 or 3 years ago, but now I think he's at the level where he needs to be.
It's incredible.
Love.
Yeah, and then you got Mercedes Moné. I would say to me she's the biggest. I wouldn't say flop. I'm not going to go out I'm not going to say flop. What I'm going to say is what I'm saying is she's the worst out of the 4 because her promos don't hit. Sometimes her matches aren't as good as they should be, and it's not her opponent; it's her. Like you said, the convoluted finish and everything. So, yeah, if I had to pick out of these 4, I'd say Monet, but Jay White would be close because he's been injured so much.
He'll be back. He's reported to be back very soon, actually. So
Yeah,
Casino Gauntlet soon?
Yeah, my only issue with the Jay White stuff has just been that they have been booking him as just
he likes it.
He does seem to have fun with it, but
he's running
looking
around
at
with
it,
boys.
exactly. I mean, looking at this myself, I would hate to use the word flop because honestly, Okada, Ospreay, Jay, and Monet, like all 4 of them are either champions right now or they've held gold.
Yeah.
So I'd say like all of them have had different levels of successes, and like Max said, where one might not be the strongest, another one will make up for it, or they themselves have a different avenue. Like not everyone's going to be, that 5-star match constant GOAT, unless you're Will Ospreay, which, he's by far, I think we all agreed that he's like at the top of all four of these ones. Okada, he's got amazing character work. Like, how do you not love any of those Okada segments with the Elite, where he's so sorry, or he's or just flipping someone off? He's fantastic in that role. And again, Jay White's been having fun, and when he has fun, I have fun watching him. And the man literally came out with 95-pack abs and like 1 million championship titles representing the Trios championships.
Also, out of the four of them, Jay's the only one who got to wear the top belt. Technically, he stole it, but he got to wear it.
He did
Exactly.
for a few weeks.
And he was a part of a major storyline of feud that was going to go somewhere, but then someone had to jump off a stage for no reason.
Sure.
Right.
And then Mercedes, if I had to rank anyone like up or down in here, I would say she's probably the weakest, but again, she's a champion, and I think she's just one really good storyline away from being able to just turn the tide on everything.
For sure.
That said, the MJF match still kind of upset me.
I didn't hate the match. I hated all the seasoning. I thought that MJF, because he's not dead now, I can look back at it and be like, okay, well, he's fine. But he did end up injured for a while. Beat the shit out of himself. Absolute
took a lot of damage.
Maniac for that shit that he did when the table botched and broke, and he went up there and
sure.
Anyway.
For me, it's
could have been another way.
Maniac.
For me, it's mostly just the how long is a one-legged man supposed to believably survive?
He did the whole. He was doing the craziest one-legged shit, but he jumped over the fucking thing and landed on his own hip. What a fucking maniac! I respect it. I'm sorry.
Nanati Malu said trade Monet for Big Swole.
Big Swole, no, the one from WCW, No Limit Soldiers.
Big Swole actually sucked though. Mercedes just has a bad finish and thinks she has to tweak.
Okay, so this is something especially I want to throw out there because again we've referenced the Big Swole from WCW, and again not to be a WCW elitist or anything, but I have been watching when they had the match with the No Limit Soldiers versus the West Texas Rednecks. Even though
it's Swole?
Yeah, Swole. And I think about the way that they had him just completely hide how bad of a wrestler he was because he's in there with technical masters like Rey Mysterio, Conan, and Brad Armstrong.
And the funny
plus Hennig on the other side.
Oh, yeah.
Wyndham.
You know what the thing about AEW is that we've had so many top talent that should be in the main event come in, and you see comments on, and I know I'm using a bad example here because they're all toxic, but Twitter and Instagram, you see people say like, oh, Jay White should be in the top spot. Oh no, Okada should be in the top spot. I have faith in AEW that all of these guys, Okada, Ospreay, Jay White, are all going to be a world champion one day because you see the trajectory of Samoa Joe when he came in. He came into Ring of Honor. He blew through the whole entire division. He was in the holding pattern with the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. He drops it, and then he goes, yeah, I'm going after the world title. And he wins the world title, and he finally gets his due. And now he's injured because he's off shooting Twisted Metal. But I'm sure when he comes back, he's going to be in another prominent position. It might not be the main event, but it's going to be a prominent position on TV. And you're going to see a guy like Okada holding the Continental Classic Championship. He's going to get to the main event soon. This is a holding pattern. Jay White holding 9 belts at one time, but still kind of in the lower mid-card. He's in a holding pattern. Will Ospreay is right on the cusp of the AEW World Championship with the International Championship match coming up. All of these guys are going to get their shine, and I use Samoa Joe as the example.
I think
I get that. Go ahead, Greg.
I think the situation you're in there, and whether or not you want to call it trouble, is that the AEW roster is somewhat reminiscent, was already knowledgeable of all these guys, of like that early 90s, or rather like mid to late 80s WWF that poached all these top guys from the other territories who were on top and all got put into the meat grinder that was that one roster. So a bunch of these top dudes became mid dudes because they can't all be on top. And that's very weird for people to process.
You mean to tell me you don't love Dusty Rhodes and the Polka Dots, brother? Like, come on, man. Was Sapphire, brother? Like,
brother.
You don't like the America? You don't like that shit?
The way he dances with Sapphire?
You chucking and jiving and everything like that? Come on, man.
You leave that name out of your goddamn mouth, Nick. Sapphire is an institution.
Sapphire was the go. We don't talk about the betrayal. That never
Sweet
happened.
Sapphire is to be protected. But that's what I mean. But that's exactly what you're talking about, right? Like, Dusty Rhodes versus Ted DiBiase is a main event in Memphis.
You're right.
That's the thing about AEW.
Mid-Atlantic, too.
You just said, it's kind of wild. It's kind of funny seeing people kind of discover the concept of a job guy, because they're posting on Twitter like, I can't believe they have guys like Angelico and he's like 87-0 or whatever, and it's like, so you discovered what's called an employed job guy. So this is his job.
87-0.
But also, like,
more than that.
the Angelico they remember was on top of Lucha Underground.
Exactly.
It's a territory poach. I'm just saying.
Listen, Nick, I look at the Sapphire and $1 Million Man thing, like her going with $1 Million Man, as I look at the fucking Raven storyline where he was really a rich kid and he was just spoiled. That is not canon.
Johnny Polo.
Hey now, that rich storyline where Raven's in the mansion with Canyon and we start to meet the very fanciful hack. That had some fun elements to it. You can't lie. It was intriguing in its own way.
Canon. Raven died when Raven left ECW. He died.
Oh, we're gonna debate this on the WCW cast.
That's harsh because he had that return ECW run that I like.
Nazi's asking, where do we see the Hurt Syndicate showing up at? We'll talk about that in a little bit because
that's a cute name.
He's gonna give me another kidney stone.
We have the match lineup for AEW All In.
Well, Nick is still here.
Darby All In.
While Nick is still here. So
we got another hour.
That's about what I got.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. 10 matches confirmed for this show so far, including
4 or 5 getting added for the pre-show.
Well, yeah, for sure, because right now there's only one pre-show match confirmed. Chris Statlander
that's not gonna happen
versus Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii.
Big Tom.
I imagine Stokely is going to be hiding somewhere the whole match until Ishii gets his hands on him.
Wait, is Willow on the pre-show? Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, I imagine that's because they're going to get the spotlight on the pay-per-view on the next one. That's what I thought. I didn't think they'd be on this card at all.
Oh, so, yeah. Because you need to put something in Chicago, right?
Yeah. I think honestly, I think they'll get a bigger spotlight if they're not sitting under Tony Storm and Mariah May.
Right.
Because Tony and Mariah have all the momentum going into this.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Maybe not put them both on the same show.
Yeah. So that will be cute. And I don't know if we really have to talk about that beyond this conversation right here, unless you guys had something really to say about that.
Who is Ishii wrestling?
He will be wrestling Stokely Hathaway.
Oh God! I hope that brainbuster is just vertically. Okay. If you know what that means, you get it.
That's horrible. That's horrible. But we'll kick off with this patriarchy versus the gang, bang gang.
Hey,
excuse me. Excuse me.
PG show.
House of Black versus spoiler alert. Mac, who is the team?
Oh, so who? All right. So if you don't want to hear who the team is, turn this off for like 10 seconds.
All right.
So we got Patriarchy versus Bang Bang Gang versus Pac, Claudio, and Baby Wheeler Yuta
That's fucked
for
up.
the AEW World Trios Championship. I'm gonna
That's-
go with the Patriarchy retaining because it's too early to take the titles off of them. I think Mama Wayne having that title. I think Killswitch is gonna fucking murder somebody. So
This is a ladder match too, right?
yeah.
Yes.
Jesus.
London ladder match.
So
London ladders.
Mama Wayne is officially listed as the Trios champion, but I think it's Freebird rules. So I think Killswitch can actually be in the match. I was reading
course.
that earlier today. So
Yes.
So Killswitch probably grabs all the belts. Christian gives Nick Wayne his. Christian takes his, and then he goes to give it to Killswitch and gives it back to Mama Wayne. And Mama Wayne probably and Killswitch probably kills everybody. Hopefully.
Which remember, the Freebird rule is the reason that the titles were stripped from the Bang Bang Gang.
Now,
Yeah.
I think. Go ahead, Greg.
I just want to add, I would respect them so much more if they actually called this a London Bridge match, and the match actually begins with the ladder bridges set up on both sides of the ring.
Oh,
Wow.
The London Bridge, but it's
Wow.
a scaffold match.
Stop! You're giving them horrible ideas.
Ideas that Darby loves.
I think my
Darby's like, it's
prediction-
falling down, huh?
I think my prediction might fall
Excellent.
into spoiler territory. I think my prediction for this match might give away the whole thing.
Uh-oh.
Because
Go ahead.
well, if you remember before
It is a
Penta
position of
decided-
Dish Sheet Radio that John's predictions are never right.
Well, beautiful tradition. But if you remember, Penta, before he went off to Stanford Land, Pac and Phoenix were originally meant to have a trios championship match so that they could possibly give Pac a moment at Wembley Stadium. And I imagine that getting Pac into this match anyway, by any means necessary, with two of the most random fucking I was gonna say unlikely, but it's even worse than that. It doesn't make any sense at all. Partners in Claudio and Wheeler Yuta, then I think that they're probably gonna be the ones who win, just so that Pac can still get his moment.
But you got to understand. But Pac also has a international championship match in his back pocket as well.
That shit don't matter. It's in Chicago.
Cashing that in all out.
They want to give Pac that Wembley moment.
They almost forgot about the title match he had for Chicago.
So
They're
you
not
know
even coming back next year. So
That's the problem, right? Like, he can't beat Okada, so he has to have some sort of happy match at the moment.
And you know what the funny thing is about this is that if Pac wins the trios title and wins the international championship, it will not be the first time that he's held those two belts together. He was the inaugural AEW All Atlantic champion, and he had the trios titles at the same time.
That's true.
Honestly, he doesn't beat whoever the international champion
No,
is. He doesn't
absolutely
beat MJF at All Out. He doesn't beat Will Ospreay at All Out. I don't think we have to worry about that as a booking thing. I think Pac definitely. Actually, now thinking about it that way, knowing that he's probably going to lose at All Out, he's absolutely winning the Trios Championship at fucking All In Wembley Stadium. Because how else do you pacify him? He seems like a really mean guy.
All right, time to institute
what they've done with the
Funny enough, though, before you start, Greg, funny enough,
the Blackpool Arrow.
Pac is actually a really, he's actually a really
How are
nice
you-
guy. He's
how are you
very,
missing
very
this?
polite.
How are you missing this? It's the Pac
So I've heard.
Combat Club.
Oh, fuck me. I hate all of this.
I hope that they lose.
Oh, I'm done.
Oh man.
What'd you
No,
say,
I was
Greg?
just Jesus Christ. I was just thinking to myself, like, does this version of the belt count as a new title
I'm
run?
here.
No, I think the lineage.
No.
I think it's still the same lineage. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's
Okay.
still the international championship. I think he's just being an asshole. I
Okay.
don't think it counts. But 100%. So, what do you guys? So Nancy says, does that mean Pac joins the BCC?
I don't think
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I don't know if I imagine there'll be some funny little stories here with them and
If
him.
Brian's retiring,
Actually, he doesn't have a death triangle either.
They're going to be talking about Pac and Claudio's beef, and that's going to be the major aspect where it's like, we're champions. We need to work together to keep these titles.
Or I mean, Blackpool Combat Club has that thing. You know, we bled together, we fought together. I respect you now. I imagine if Pac doesn't have anybody else to run with because Death Triangle's gone, then Blackpool Combat Club honestly wouldn't be the worst.
Depending on what Pac's personal opinions are of Blackpool in general.
Yeah, that's a good point. I actually
Because the thing to remember, fellas, it's Pac.
It's the Welsh Combat Club now.
it's the Benjamin Combat Club.
I just imagine it being like the idea of just those warring football clubs. Like it's a Tottenham fullback club now. Like, oh Jesus.
Oh God.
TK making it the Fulham Club.
All right, so
gotta go on Redbubble and make those Packpool Combat Club shirts.
Packpool, get it before they beat you to it.
Get it before the cease and desist arrive.
The next match is going to be Chris Jericho versus Hook for the For the World Championship. If Hook loses, he cannot.
Oh,
Hi
God.
guys! Challenge for the title again. I mean, what do you guys think?
I mean, I think it's Hook.
That's weird in the sense of like there's a part of me that wants the Hook to be banned from that belt so that he could do something else.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I just think in my heart of hearts it's going to be Hook. He won the title here last year, so that says a lot. Like he's still in that holding pattern of the FPW title. He beat Jack Perry for it in the Crimea River match. So, you know, I don't know, man. Like, they really haven't progressed his character past like anything. They really haven't like taken him out of that like honestly the Jericho vortex. You know, it's just been like it's been Shibata, it's been Jericho, it's been Jack Perry for a while. You know, like I want to see Hook. I mean, he did have that match.
Perry stuff. Honestly, the Jack Perry stuff was the last time Hook was interesting.
Yeah. And, well, he did.
Oh, the Samoa Joe.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say when they introduced the bat signal and we all popped for it.
Yeah.
God, man, why are they doing nothing with him?
Right. Oh, I remember too when Sting retired. Then Tony Schiavone is now going. It's Hook.
It is Hook.
I just always assume that there's an air of just like the dude obviously needs a lot more work. When you see him with the older vets, like you can see some of the holes in it, and like, look, they started him so early. He's not going to get there that fast.
They're going to hate me for this, but
go for it.
Send him to NXT.
You want to send him?
He feels like someone that would rise in actual NXT.
Send him to real NXT.
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't mean losing.
New Japan Strong?
I don't think it's worth. Well, shit. If you can send him to the goddamn dojo for a year, that'd be a lot better than NXT.
Okay, but Hook following a dojo training session would be really cool.
Hook dojo video packages for a year?
Yo, that'd be sick.
Get the fuck out of here, man. He'll come back like the sickest shit. Don't play with me.
But he'll get even more ripped, less body fat.
But here's the thing: we really haven't seen Hook in any like big, with any like major people. We saw him with Samoa Joe, and that match fucked. So like,
that's Joe.
But you're putting him in there with a 52-year-old Chris Jericho. Like, I want to see him mix it up with like Darby Allin. I want to see him mix it up with maybe like a Mark Briscoe or maybe like a Tomohiro Ishii.
Fellas.
But also, like,
throwing this out there because Mac made me think about this. Sorry, Greg. Was what if Hook loses the match, but then appears later in the Casino Gauntlet, setting something up for later?
Yeah, I mean, it could happen. Yeah,
it could happen. I have two notes on that. One, according to what Mac was talking about, Also, stylistically, Joe knows how to work with a hook. Like, oh yes, you are a young, skinny me. Like, I know how to get you over, kid. Yeah. But to point out something that John made me think about when he said it, not only is the idea of Hook getting better and a little bigger in like a year of dojo vignettes kind of interesting. Okay, don't hate me. I kind of want to bring back Bill Alfonso for this.
Oh man, as
wow.
Mickey?
Straight from the Team Taz days to Team Hook, Bill Alfonso coaching.
Team Hook, yes.
Bill Alfonso looks like the Crypt Keeper now, man. I don't think you want to.
You got this, Daddy. You got
You
this.
say that, but Alfonso looks better than most of those ECW idiots these days.
He still takes bookings as
he's
like
still
a
alive.
referee.
Greg,
So doesn't
most
he?
of the ECW originals are fucking dead.
And the ones that are alive still don't look as good as Bill Alfonso.
What about RVD? RVD looks amazing.
Alfonso will get hype going.
Tell that to his eye.
Count. Come on.
What'd you say, John?
I said RVD doesn't fucking count.
He's an
Get the
ECW
fuck
original.
out of here. He's like 50, whatever the hell years old. He looks 30. He does every form of yoga.
The freak of nature of the ECW locker
He
room.
smokes so much marijuana that I'm sure his body has discovered multiple new fucking ways to protect itself.
Non-existent pain.
Have you guys seen the recent interview with? Well, it wasn't an interview. It was just like maybe like a 3-minute video on Twitter of Kevin Nash and Sandman talking to each other.
That sounds horrible.
They were
Yeah, I was
at
gonna
a
say I don't
convention-
think I would click that on purpose.
But no, I mean, I was just scrolling through Twitter and I saw it. Dude, Sandman looks really good. Like he's like, I know he looked like shit for a long time, but he looks really good. And the one thing that I hated that Nash was doing during that thing, he kept calling him Hack the entire time.
I was just thinking, like, wow, it's Oz and Hardcore Hack together.
Yeah, he just kept going. Yeah, you're right, Hack. Yeah. And Hack was like, yeah, remember the time backstage when I smashed Ralph Fist over the head with a hockey stick? He's like, yeah, remember that, Hack.
To be fair, though,
I've
Nash
heard a
probably only
lot
knew
of
him as
people-
Hack.
I've heard a lot of people call him Hack over the years, so like I think that's just a name people know him by.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah, it is. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so like we got to move on from this match, and we'll talk about the Casino Gauntlet. Or actually, I skipped. We'll talk about the Casino Gauntlet, and then I skipped one match. We'll get back to it.
Lots of possibilities with this one.
Casino Gauntlet is going to be a big one. Casino
Hangman.
Gauntlet. Hangman Page is confirmed. Orange Cassidy is confirmed.
Number one.
Do we have any other confirmed names?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think Evil Uno is considering not being in that match after the
That's-
fucking
Yeah,
ass
the
he
headshot.
got tonight.
That's not
And
fair. I think he's dead.
O'Reilly and Mark Briscoe.
I think he's dead.
And since Roddy was in that trios match, or that triple threat, I'm sure Roddy will probably be in the match too.
Dude, put a belt on Roddy, will you? For fuck's sake.
He just had one.
I know, but put another one on him.
So that's a bunch of really good AEW guys that are on the roster right now.
And a lot of openings in the match.
There's a lot of openings, and there's no real number of people who can be in this match. It's just they wrestle until somebody gets pinned. Theoretically, that can empty out the entire roster.
I would like
it
to
can
see
end
wild
very
card
early.
Jeff Jarrett.
I think they're all wild cards at this point.
No, I mean I'm
yeah.
saying like Mike Dark Horse. Sorry,
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
say wild card, Mike Dark Horse. So I would have Hangman winning this. There was a report out from, I don't know if it was Fightful or PW Insider, so I don't want to quote either one, saying that saying that Swerve and Hangman was almost confirmed for All Out.
They're just watching the show. They're just watching the show. We're watching the show too, guys. We think that it might happen at All Out too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna change my name to Mike Johnson.
Right.
I could probably find like a local commercial that they aired that's probably saying that very thing.
So, Does Ricochet show up during the gauntlet? Is a question from Nanti. That's a good one. I think Ricochet definitely shows up at this
Le
show.
Joker?
I think the good thing about this match is that they can all lose without getting pinned, and they don't lose.
Exactly.
Like, it doesn't count as a record. Like, whoever gets pinned loses.
Just the person that got pinned, yeah.
So so is it? So now, do all of the competitors have to be in the match before a pinfall takes place, or
Nope.
could a pinfall
Oh.
take place before they all come out?
No, that's
Before.
the thing about this. It can just happen. That's why it's such a
Okay.
big deal to be number one, because you
Yeah.
can end it.
That's why they had that match where Orange Cassidy confirmed himself at
that
number
was-
one.
Yeah, I was confused about that. I was like, why would you want to be number one? Now I know. Okay, now I get it.
But hey, I mean, that means too that like number 2 is another coveted spot.
Yeah.
So wait, are you suggesting that like they can end the match before everyone's even made it out?
Yes.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
bell could literally ring and say if it's like Roddy and Orange Cassidy, you can roll up Roddy and have like 12 other guys waiting to come out, and it's like, nope, fuck you, match is over.
Yeah.
I always
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
that'd be hilarious if they did that.
I think in the first one they did a story where somebody got left out. I think
Roddy.
it was like Roddy, right? Roddy got
yeah.
left out because they pinned someone too early.
They're gonna do that again. I'm already.
I
making
hope
that
y'all got
because
your
they didn't announce
paychecks.
Let me tell you guys something. So speaking of that, like rolling a guy up before like another 12 guys are supposed to come out, I've always had this thing in my head where I always wanted to see a Royal Rumble where number 30 hadn't come out yet and there were 2 people left in the ring and they were just waiting for number 30 and they both eliminate each other. So when number 30 comes out and gets in the ring, he automatically wins because the last 2 people eliminated themselves.
that actually would be fucking horrible finish, but that's
The crowd
That
would
is so anticlimactic.
Could
So
you
say-
imagine?
the troll
Could you
job.
imagine?
So say it's like Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is number 30. He's walking down to the ring doing his, his little fancy dance that he does. And he gets in the ring and say like McIntyre and like somebody else, Punk, eliminate themselves, and he's just standing there like this and he wins.
Yeah,
I guarantee at that point the authority figures coming out and being like, "We're adding 10 more guys to this."
at that point the authorities are coming because there's a riot. Hunter says, "Do we see Ricky Starks as DLC or day one for WWE 2K25?
Create a wrestler.
If he joins now in October, then he'll be there on day one."
As an NXT guy,
alright,
no,
let's-
okay.
As in but actually as an NXT guy, the reports are it's an NXT thing.
And you got your style from The Rock, so go ahead, keep talking.
And it's like they're going to CW, so they're gonna want to load some guys on NXT, and Ricky Starks is probably gonna be a guy. Nanti says we're the first group of
Lexus
guys to
Starks.
get his name right on the first time. Well, you're welcome.
We are cultured gentlemen.
I try. Anyway, so for the Casino Gauntlet match, I do see Ricochet showing up, maybe, but something. I have a feeling he might not be in this match. I don't know if you want to dump all your debuts here, because you can do the Bobby
How many
Lashley
debuts are we thinking here?
debut.
Dude, I was thinking about this before we even got on the air of like how brutal but cool it would be if Bobby Lashley came out and just speared and killed like everyone in the ring.
He posted a video. He posted a video online training for a boxing return, right? And I think
That feels so sus to me.
that's so
Well,
contrived.
It's so
He always
covered.
posts the MMA stuff.
Yeah, but like he was like, it's like a boxing, like my next move is gonna be boxing, guys,
All right, he's gonna be in it.
right? And that's like he's definitely gonna be all in.
I would crack the code.
But I see. I do
Call
see
me,
him doing fighting.
call me being hopeful. Just thought of it as hopefully a return to the American Top Team Bobby Lashley from Impact.
Crazy idea. What happens if we go and get Shelton Benjamin in there? Sorry, I'm just a sucker
Well-
for Shelton Benjamin. Pop him anywhere you can.
I
Only
actually think
if
that's the
Shelton
obvious
Benjamin
direction.
immediately comes in and punches what's his name in the face.
That's definitely what's gonna happen, though. They're absolutely going to call fucking Shelton.
Yes, Max Caster.
But yeah, good stuff. I don't know. We'll see though. We'll definitely see. Who do we? So we all agree with the Hangman winning this casino thing, or what?
I agree with it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
If it's the simplest way to expedite the Hangman gets the title shot in a week, yeah.
It's the most logical, but remember, Hangman has that tendency of having things go completely wrong for him. So I could see him taking the pin.
So I'm wondering. There's a couple ways this can go though, because Hangman wins a title shot, which you would assume means that he's getting a shot at Swerve, but I don't think that he's not gonna get involved in Swerve's moment in the main event. I don't know. I don't know if he gets involved in that main event if he wins the title shot too. So
Okay.
but see,
how does that?
here's the thing, John. Like, you have the title shot, obviously, at All Out. But then you got to factor in that Darby also has his title shot at Grand Slam in September. So, if you're booking this, you have Brian versus Swerve, and then Hangman presumably wins the gauntlet, and then you have Hangman versus either Brian. You have Hangman either versus Brian or Swerve, and then you have either Brian or Swerve versus or Hangman versus Darby Allin at Grand Slam. Like, there's so many ways. I love the one thing I love about AEW is that they do predictable things sometimes, but like this stretch coming up between All In, All Out, and Grand Slam is like really unpredictable.
Although I will say the most logical match there is Adam Page and Darby Allin.
I can't even make my way out of the damn the world title match on Sunday. Like, I can't even predict past Brian.
It could go either way, honestly.
Yeah.
But we'll try. I'm gonna try to talk through it.
Because that's the thing too, is with that world championship match, like thinking of whoever wins that is what's also completely breaking my mind right now when it comes down to figuring out who will win the Casino Gauntlet. And that's what I love about wrestling, so I'm looking forward to it.
It's really fun. It's very fun. I think we might have more of an idea of that main event based on who wins the Casino Gauntlet.
Yeah.
But
I hope it's someone that's like just completely out of left field that nobody's thinking about.
Is it weird to give
Jeff
the
Jarrett.
title shot to somebody to a new person?
No,
Like,
Nick.
on the first shot.
J-E-double-F.
Just somebody
E-double-T.
with the world title shot. Is that
Guys,
too heavy?
I got it. Matt Taven
Brian Cage.
wins.
No.
I will actually stop watching the show at that point.
Fuck you. I'll legitimately jump off a building with Tony Khan's name on my shirt.
Hey,
Fellas, what about the concept of someone... Go on, Matt, go on.
John, do you need a welfare check if Brian gets pinned on Sunday?
Are the dogs in the enclosed pool area, John?
Oh wow. No,
That's so dark. I'm so sorry.
we'll talk about that in a second. Because we have to talk about
I
other
want
matches.
to say one final thing because we've been on the Casino Gauntlet forever. But
Yeah.
could the winner of it also be someone who might lose a different match earlier in the show?
Kurt Angle style, or not that they win, but entering that gauntlet after losing the match.
Or have Ospreay just enter the Gauntlet, win or lose the American Championship match because he's just the master of the Casino Gauntlet.
I love gauntlet matches, bro.
Come
I
on.
couldn't pass this one up.
And in reference to earlier, we just have Britt Baker come back like, this is why.
But, so we're gonna talk about Darby Allin right now, Jesus, because we're talking about Jack Perry versus Darby Allin in a coffin match. Coffin match for the AEW TNT Championship.
Oh, is it?
Why are they coughing? Get them a cough drop.
It is a coffin match. This match is
didn't
gonna
see that.
fuck so hard. Oh my god, I can't wait.
How hard
to
will it
see
fuck?
them.
Real wood, Crimea River.
Darby is a maniac, and they gave him this platform and like coffin match at Wembley Stadium for the TNT Championship.
Remember, Jack Perry's also a maniac.
Jack Perry's nuts too, because he's got this chip on his shoulder and he's still trying to like prove himself to all these people, and he's gonna do something ridiculous.
I'm more than just an
Bro,
actor's son.
How great was that video of him creating the new TNT Championship?
That was so cool, and the title looks awesome.
Why is he casually a fucking smelter? How is he?
When did he become a smith?
How is he a blacksmith? Like what?
The
What
master
the fuck?
of the forge.
He's like shirtless and forging this thing. Like, shit, what the fuck is going on?
He's been playing a lot of the D&Ds, but taking it personally. He's a forge cleric.
Just the craziest shit I've ever seen. Greg didn't like it. Greg thought it was a waste of a title belt.
Also, just that the idea of like people changing the TNT title is so overdone at this point.
But that's the gimmick of the belt. It's like the
Variants.
thing that they do. You win
Yep.
the TNT championship and you get your own. But they didn't give Jack Perry one because he's a fucking dickhead. So
he has to make it himself.
He made his own.
Miro was kind
I
of.
don't remember Christian getting a new one.
Why aren't
Christian
they
is
showing
also an
that?
asshole. But I don't think you can give. I don't think you can give a title belt a turtleneck. So he was probably fine with the.
There's gotta be a way.
There's gotta be a way.
Designers, figure it out, please.
He
John,
did
that's-
have.
John, that's gonna fucking pop me all night. You saying, "How is he casually a smelter?"
It's crazy.
Blacksmith Jack Perry.
I'm gonna get off this podcast, go home, and just laugh at that.
Mac, this one's for you. He's a jacksmith.
Oh, fuck you. I'm just saying, something like that takes time to learn, and it takes so much time that you usually know that about a person because, like, other people know that. Like, where does that even come from? Where do you do that as a hobby? Like, what the fuck?
I feel like there's some sort of like training you need to get to be able to work with molten lava, molten
I'm
lead.
trying to watch it. I'm trying to watch it, looking for like the gimmick. Like, there's no way. Like, but even if he only poured the fucking hot lava into the video and somebody else did the rest of it, like, it's still more than most people know how to do. Like,
Somebody said the other day they were like, holy shit, he knows how to do all this and he bangs Anna Jay? What the fuck?
Damn.
That's how she was impressed by his blacksmithing skills.
You think Luke Perry forced all his kids to learn how to blacksmith?
And this is an anvil.
Yeah, in between scenes of 90210, he's just blacksmithing.
Thinking about it now, I can see his sister rocking like the gloves and like the hey,
Oh,
Jack. I made you that sword. No, but
Oh, they need to start doing that as like a gimmick where like the steel cage match, like he's the one that's physically putting the cage together himself, and it's all him.
if I'm Tony Khan, I feel like Jack Perry has to win here because we're making a bit of a point. Okay, it's all in. Okay,
Darby has the world title shot in his back pocket, so I think he's good.
Right.
But also, I'm not.
I will note that Darby Allin is currently undefeated in coffin matches.
Shit, you're right.
But remember, it's Darby All In.
Oh god,
I hate you so much.
Nick, I hope you get a kidney stone. No.
What? No.
That's horrible.
What the hell?
Jesus.
What was? Jeez. What was that?
All right, I take it back. Sorry, Nick. Nick, wait a minute. WCW.
Oh my god.
That
makes it such a such a fucking get out of here. It was so easy to win back.
Hey, listen though. But Jack Perry, that New Japan match where he came back, he lost to Shota Umino.
He did.
He did.
He was over
got
as fuck
pinned.
though. That night was awesome. That was a great night in his career. But talking about this match, beyond the pettiness of we're not gonna pin Jack Perry at the first All In after the thing.
No.
Darby
1 year
Allin, like you
anniversary.
said, you're right. Darby Allin, like you said, has the world title match.
Yeah.
And I really don't feel like we just went through all the trouble of Jack Perry making that belt himself just to lose it. Like, come on, bro.
Immediately.
Come on.
Well, I
man.
mean, you're gonna have MJF lose that belt that he just made for himself
Yeah,
immediately.
but he paid to get that made because he's a fucking lazy shit.
He paid to have Jack Perry Smith it.
Yeah.
He forged it.
He paid Belt Fan Dan to outsource his work to Pakistan.
Here's the thing that Jesus
Perry Stan.
reminded me of. Jesus just reminded me of. He sent me a little snippet of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, which came out very early this week. They mentioned that there's been talk in AEW of Darby Allin being in line and possibly next in line for the AEW World Championship, no matter what happens at Wembley. So I don't know if that means it's going to happen at Grand Slam. I actually doubt that it's going to happen at Grand Slam. They booked a 20,000 seat dome in Darby Allin's hometown.
Yeah.
Or not hometown, home state.
Is that before or after Grand Slam?
That's a month later. That's 1 month later. I think Grand Slam will be a major chapter in whatever's about to happen for Darby Allin. I think it would be very interesting to have Darby Allin and Swerve Strickland involved with each other that way because they have a history and outside of AEW, but also in AEW they've established like they had a I don't know if you call it like a preview match because they did put a lot into it, but they did a match that really made you think like we're gonna do this again in the future in a much bigger spot, you son of a bitch. And this would be like the biggest possible place to do it. The two Washington natives, two guys that really made their names or really made themselves now in AEW. You could say Swerve made his name in Lucha Underground more than anything.
So you're thinking Brian wins it from Swerve. Brian goes to Grand Slam, Darby wins it, and then Swerve gets his rematch in the Tacoma Dome.
That seems like what could be happening here, but that also doesn't seem right. Like something about that doesn't seem right. The timing, like Brian winning the belt at Wembley and losing at Grand Slam doesn't seem it doesn't make sense actually at all, because like why wouldn't you have the Washington legend Bryan Danielson walk into the Tacoma Dome as the world champion? Honestly, if they did a triple threat, it wouldn't bother me. It would honestly be cute to me based on how Brian's whole career had important triple threats.
Exactly, which is why I'm thinking now, like, it has to be a triple threat between the three Washington guys.
Three of the biggest Washington wrestlers since what other old man Washington wrestlers can you even think of?
Has anybody thought of the possibility of Brian winning? Has anybody thought of the possibility of Brian winning the title and then retiring and relinquishing it?
That would be so annoying.
Also, yeah, very. I was gonna say very annoying, very shitty. Like something that is shitty to Swerve. I don't know. Like that feels like why did he even lose?
My career's on the line. I won. Going home anyway.
He could have retired him. Jesus says add Paige into the match. I don't think Paige should be in it because then you fuck up the Washington thing. I think they should. I think whatever Paige and Swerve have going on should really end at All Out. It should be a big ass thing, like whatever stipulation. What's the biggest stipulation? Oh, it's hey. Did they already have? They've already had a Texas death match. So like, how much bigger can you get? What else can you do?
Redo the exploding barbed wire death match.
Fuck it. We'll get it right this time. I swear.
Get it right. This is how you do it.
So moving on from that, we have the Young Bucks versus FTR versus the Acclaimed for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. I'm not happy with this.
I'm not looking forward to this match.
I don't like this at all. I don't think they're gonna underperform. I think it's gonna be A-okay. I'm just not.
I feel like the Acclaimed is bringing this match down.
Yep.
Yeah, there's that. But it also feels like at this point, like we missed all the important trains for the Young Bucks and FTR, and they feel like they're eternally attached to each other. But you missed the important parts. Like you missed the one. Last year's Wembley was the one. You had all the right moment. Everything was right.
Everything lined up.
Everything lined up, and then it didn't happen. So no, not even last year's Wembley. Not like fuck last year's Wembley. That's when it did happen. When it was too late. When they had all those damn
We're talking
titles.
about the big.
Yeah,
Oh,
when
that
they
was
had,
in, that was in, that was in Boston.
there it is. When they could have had every single goddamn tag team championship in the world that wasn't WWE.
Yeah,
on
it
the
was
line.
Yep.
it was the ROH and AAA tag team titles on the line in that match.
They could have main evented the damn paper. They had the IWGP, the Ring of Honor, and the AAA tag titles, and the Bucks had the AEW tag titles, and they could have.
Literally could have been the thing that the
damn thing.
It literally could have been the thing that the Young Bucks were chirping about the entire time since this whole thing started, making tag team wrestling so important that it could main event again, and they squandered it.
Threw it away for what? And I'm pretty sure there's some backstage bullshit that nobody wants to tell us about, and we'll find out later on in the book.
Dax
But whatever.
said he'll tell you in a few years after the deal's up.
Yeah, and then they signed a new deal. silly.
And then too,
Little bit.
like you gotta consider how the Bucks' current tag title run has just been literally nothing. They've just been holding the titles hostage, and that's it.
They defended it once.
So, John,
Fighting
I
chance.
looked up that match. It was at the Agganis Arena in Boston. It was on April 6, 2022. FTR.
That was a great
retained-
match, though. That was the
retained
good
the
one.
ROH and AAA tag team titles. The Young Bucks did not have the tag team AEW tag titles at the time.
Yeah, it's that summer. After that match, that summer they win the. I can't remember when they win it. I think it's they get it from, is it Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus? because the fucking Hardy Boys, because Jeff Hardy had a fucking DUI and fucked up the plans and all that.
And that's when Christian turned on Jungle Boy.
Yeah. So Jesus says, "Where's Motor City Machine Gun?"
Oh, that was
I'm
the ladder
pretty-
match, John.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that the Motor City Machine Gun not being here is the reason why we have this fucking weird ass triple threat match for the tag team championships. I think that Motor City signed it with WWE for sure. But yeah, so who do we see winning these, fellas?
I'm gonna go with the Young Bucks retaining over
Same.
shenanigans.
Yep, that's the way I see it too.
Sounds good to me. That's how I see it.
Just please more title defenses.
Toni Storm versus Mariah May for the AEW Women's World Championship. I don't know that Mariah May should win here. It's just no, I don't. I mean, I like Mariah May a lot. It's just, it doesn't make sense for her to do all that to Toni Storm and then win. Like, damn. Unless Mina, somebody predicted. Here we go. James Carlos, what's up, James? Thanks for joining us.
Hey.
Predicted that Mina Shirakawa is going to help Mariah May. That would make sense if they did
Because
something like that.
Do everything together, John.
They do everything together. Secret.
So, John, just 1 second. Going back to the Jurassic Express Young Bucks match, it happened
triple
on.
threat.
It was a ladder match.
Oh,
It
it was
was,
supposed to be a triple threat.
Yeah, it was June 15, 2002. The Young Bucks defeat Jurassic Express in a ladder match. 4 3/4 stars from Dave.
It was a great match, if I remember correctly.
Young
Bucks and
IRC.
FTR got that too.
Motherfuckers. Anyway,
Now just imagine
it was too late by the time.
imagining how many people are mad are mad at Dave over 25%.
Chipping 5. But yeah, Toni Storm versus Mariah May. What do you guys think?
I really want Mariah May to win. I think Tony's had the title long enough, but I think Tony's going to get her revenge, especially being in England. close enough, to New Zealand. But yeah, I'd really like to see Mariah win, but I think it's way too early for her to win the title. So I'm gonna go with Tony.
I'd rather have Mariah May win this one personally, but also with the Mina stuff.
Yeah, I like the Mina thing though. I like the Mina thing a lot.
I'm wrestling with this one, but I think even just beyond like any Mina stuff, I think Mariah May is going to take this purely just because of the momentum and her rising status. And I think if anyone needs this victory more, it would be Mariah May.
Yeah, and like we talked about it before about how like Mariah May is still kind of clearly the very sad stand-in for Jamie Hayter here.
Sad times, actually, when it comes to Jamie Hayter. People think that she's going to possibly return for this next match. Mercedes
Moné. It's going to be Taylor Swift.
Mercedes Moné versus Britt Baker for the AEW TBS.
I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised, by the way, if Hayter just shows up to be a fucking ring announcer just to get the stand at Wembley.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Is it
says I make him sick. He hopes I get blacklisted from AEW. Respect Mariah.
Is it though? Because like it's the same moment that Nigel got.
Yeah, but like, damn, come on, man.
Oh, you know what it's gonna be? Jamie Hayter in the Casino Gauntlet.
That's right. She's gonna win. She's get that shot at the world title.
Can you imagine how that pop is gonna be if her music goes off?
I'm gonna be in my house screaming like a bitch. that music goes off. I love that theme song. I fucking love that shit. I'm gonna go crazy. Anyway, I don't know. We were talking about it earlier on the Dynamite recap that Sean Ross Sapp mentioned something about Mercedes and or Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter maybe not being or maybe that he thought the time might have passed interpersonally to do anything between Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. This is a job. I don't want to. It shouldn't fucking matter. It really shouldn't matter. They're performers. If the boss says you're friends, you're friends. This is a TV show. Like, what are you talking about?
Dude, you gotta be professional.
I assume he more means that like any tension in the relationship would be like kind of dead with the year they've been apart and both of them have been off TV.
That's dumb. People fucking return to help their their character friends all the time. That's literally the easiest way to bring somebody back. Like, they just slot them in, and usually, they come back and sometimes they'll turn on them. But you're immediately involved with the person you were involved with before. It's the easiest fucking way to do that. That's
wrestling's long history of people who are besties and who hate each other working together.
Very true. Britt got beef with everybody. Yeah,
Britt.
Jesus.
Dark cloud over the event. Let's go.
Listen, man, when you on top, you protect your fucking spot, whether you got a dick or a vagina. It don't matter. They're going to call you a bitch if you got a vagina, and if you got a dick, they're going to call you an asshole. Do what you got to do.
So, John,
some of these people just have no media training.
I know you're going to say, oh, this sounds like a hater or whatever, but I spoke to two
You are a
people. I'm not hating.
No, I know.
You're a Jamie hater.
I know.
So I think you and I think you and I just you spoke privately in a DM, but spoke to two different people last week. Two people in the industry that were talking about the Britt Baker and Alicia Tote situation. So apparently, according to the person that talked to me, the person I spoke to somebody in the locker room. They said what happened was MJF never punched a wall. MJF and Will went to the locker room, asked Britt what she was saying as she was going into the locker room. She said, it was just, girl talk, whatever. And then Will got frustrated when the conversation went nowhere, walked away. MJF stayed and said and dressed Britt down in front of the whole women's locker room. And then I guess Britt went and said something to Alicia Atau. Alicia Atau went to HR. HR went to Britt and said, "Did you say this to whatever it was? I don't know what it was." She said, "Yes, I did say it," and they suspended Britt Baker.
Yeah, at least she stood on business.
It's HR though.
HR. Alicia Atau's too Canadian.
Two different sources who don't know each other said they heard the same story.
She was definitely raised differently from me. I just start swinging. They listen. She knew it.
Mama said you contact the authorities.
Listen, Brett, according to my two sources,
an ambulance, but not for me.
the two people that I talked to said that Britt is universally disliked by a bunch of people. So just take that for what it's
she's got the top spot. So what if they don't like? So fucking what? Like
they don't like me, brother.
And if she says MJF and fucking Will Ospreay got too much fucking TVs, I'm glad that she feels that way. I'm glad that somebody cares about their fucking spot that much. All you bunch of fucking baby bitches backstage. That doesn't have nothing. That's nothing compared to the real glass, all that CM Punk shit. That's Britt Baker saying fucking these motherfuckers got an hour on TV. I got 10 minutes. This is some bullshit. And Alicia Atau being in the room and be like, "That's my fucking man." But instead of going to Britt,
but you also know it's gonna come off to a lot of people as like women complaining that women don't get things.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, especially as a woman, like, do what the fuck. Fight for your shit. And if people don't like you, so fucking what? I got two daughters. I don't want them to give a fuck who likes them. You protect your fucking spot.
All of a sudden, Alicia Atau disappears off of TV.
She was not good enough to be on TV in the first place. You think I give a fuck about
Alicia
competitive? No,
I barely remember her being around.
They hired her, and then they put her on the internet because her interview skills are not good.
I remember one internet promo with the conglomeration, and that was it.
And there was a clip. They aired a clip version of it.
She had a promo where
MLW.
Not to say
MLW.
It's true. It's true. It's fucking true. It feels like her interviews feel like unprofessional. They feel like cell phone interviews. Like what are we even doing here? And to fucking jeopardize this Britt Baker Mercedes thing over Alicia Atau and this some bullshit like this, man, if y'all don't get the fuck out of my face. All right, they suspended her because you have to, because HR has to. Right, fine. But we're not making a big deal about this. I'm certainly not gonna be like, oh, Britt Baker's such a bitch. Like, man, get the fuck out of here with that.
John is in the position here where he was just like, man, I wish I just heard they had a fist fight like Booker T and Batista back in the day. And we got it over with.
That would have been so much better and cleaner for everybody involved. Like, oh, they fought and then that's it. All right, what the fuck are you gonna do now? Move on.
Nick, yes. they did a backstage segment with Alicia Atau where MJF was getting out of a car and she's like, MJF. He goes, "Oh shit, Tits McGee from Whore Island. When did they hire you?"
Yeah, they brought over that internet thing they did. But anyway, I'm certain Britt Baker leaves for a fucking year. She comes back and the landscape is entirely different too. All these top girls, all these great wrestlers that would climb the ladder. Fucking Mercedes Moné is here. Fucking Chris Statlander is great now. Willow Nightingale's here now. Fucking, she's like, what the fuck? Like, how am I gonna fight for this spot? I get it, girl.
I'm gonna complain on the internet.
Yeah, right. She said, "Fuck it." Anyway, that is her match with Mercedes. I don't see her winning here though. It just isn't. No, it isn't set up. Isn't set up that way. What about you guys?
No, she's not.
I guess no. Not at all.
Y'all right. Like, all right. So moving on from that, we have the MJF versus Will Ospreay for the AEW American Championship.
Bro,
bro.
USA.
Can I say that the most interesting thing about this match has been the clearly inspired decision to have MJF go on the goddamnedest UK podcast media tour? Good lord.
He shitted all over them too. That's actually very interesting. I like that. I like that a lot.
You know what I hope happens here? I hope MJF has the entire Cody Rhodes entrance down to the ring jacket.
Oh my god.
Oh shit, I didn't even think of that. That'd be incredible. That'd be fucking hilarious.
Got to. He has to. Take the Cody Vader and everything.
I think it's interesting how beyond the fact that they started, I mean, it's kind of old school. It's a kind of old school booking here. Like it's obviously set up for Will Ospreay to win. But MJF turned into a fucking full-on USA heel headed into the London show. Like, it's the most blatant
And Mexico
thing. And the Mexico show, that's right. It's the most blatant thing. Like, I'm gonna be the worst possible thing I could be headed into a UK show. I'm gonna change the belt into a United States belt. I'm gonna go.
It didn't feel organic.
I don't know that anything he does feels organic. Nanti says I smell a draw, maybe a part 3 match leading up to Grand Slam. I would fucking hate that. After they did the 60-minute draw on Dynamite, to do another 60-minute draw on the pay-per-view, I'm gonna actually eat a fucking grenade.
It wasn't a draw.
That was the most like.
Excuse me, the 60-minute match, 59-minute and 58-second match.
That is the most like Flair and Steamboat-esque shit ever.
Honestly.
You know what it is, and I didn't hate that match.
Go back to Mid-Atlantic talk.
Okay. But I guess talking about the MJF and Ospreay 59-minute, 58-second match, I didn't hate that match. I just felt like we got the whole Will Ospreay MJF experience, like the whole thing. I don't know what else they're gonna do tonight or Sunday. Oh, that's it, right? The Tiger
That depends on whether or not you believe they are smart enough, right? Because like, I will go into what you said about that and say, I thought we got the entire Kenny Omega Okada experience at Wrestle Kingdom, and they were smart enough to base the entire second match around Okada's defense with the dropkick. And never letting Omega get off on him.
Yeah, never letting Omega hit the one-wing danger.
Yeah, I could just see this match like going down the road of Will is about to hit it, and then he thinks twice about it because he's got a conscience, and then he goes to hit it again, and he has a conscience. He has a mental whatever, and then MJF says something about like Ryan Smiles' kid or his wife or something, and then he fucking nails him with the Tiger Driver.
I thought that was
he did get Brian's consent to use the Tiger Driver.
I can't get behind the Tiger Driver thing, especially after they had Amanada use it on fucking Ring of Honor. I'm just like, so Amanada has bigger nuts than Will Ospreay does.
She does though. She actually, it's special.
It is Amanada.
Don't talk trash about my new being queen.
I'm a lot.
No, I'm down on Amanada. I'm glad that she has the sack to do the damn move that Willie doesn't. Oh no, it makes me sad now.
Which honestly, that should be something that they pull into this whole storyline. Is like, look, Amanada doesn't care. Why should you?
It's too late now.
And like you are giving people.
It's never too late.
You are smashing people with your elbow in the back of the head, which is the most dangerous place to actually land like a concentrated strike. But the Tiger Driver is where you draw the line?
Yes. It's evil. It's evil. I almost killed Brian, even though he's not really dead, and he's still fighting.
Fucking Brody King is out here doing the Gonzo bomb on a regular basis, but you want to be a bitch about the Tiger Driver?
Bro, Ospreay is traumatized because the last guy he gave the Tiger Driver to is now fighting for the World Championship. So if I give this guy a Tiger Driver, he'll be fighting for the World title in 2 months. And I can't have this. I can't have this.
Well, no, because he gave it to Omega, and Omega ain't doing shit.
Well,
Listen,
Omega's dead.
no-
There's a difference.
No moves effective nowadays.
That's
I
exactly
literally
why
thought-
he's traumatized.
I literally saw a GCW match the other day where a guy kicked out of a burning hammer where it looked like he landed on his fucking eyelids at one.
Please, I don't want to hear. This is horrible. I don't want to hear about this.
Transition move, burning hammer. Let's go.
Just-
John had to go to therapy just to be a Kota Ibushi fan again.
Hey, John, do you remember when Seth
it was
Rollins had
bad.
Kawada kicks?
No, they were not Kawada kicks. They were trying to be Kawada kicks.
Trying.
Smash, please.
Jesus said we need Daniel Garcia's theme to hit at Wembley. I tell you this shit right now. I think if Daniel Garcia was coming back to AEW, he would have a match at Wembley. He would not be waiting to run in at Wembley. Because otherwise, why?
Casino
Because think
Gauntlet.
about this.
Exactly.
Think of-
Casino Gauntlet.
He better win. Because what the fuck? Because why else? Okay, give me a second about Daniel Garcia. His
Don't talk for a
contract
second, boys.
came up, or is coming up. We don't know when. Before Wembley, right? And he decides to, if he's gonna stay with AEW, he's playing games with contracts to screw himself out of the Wembley moment.
Payday and moment.
No, I think if he was staying in AEW, he would have tried to figure out this contract thing before Wembley so that he can have his spot secure. He's not going to miss out on the big stadium show, the big payday, and then come back and then do
Well, what
what?
if Tony?
All out?
What if Tony pays him as if he was performing at the show just to
That
keep him out for a
stinks.
surprise? You know.
That absolutely.
that
That he
stinks,
still
like-
fucked himself out of the moment, and it's like next year, I promise. Like they're not even gonna be there next year. We're gonna be in Texas.
Texas moment.
You get a
I
Texas
feel like-
moment.
I feel like Daniel Garcia's tenure or report card, as I like to put it, in AEW will be an interesting discussion because it's a tale of two paths, and he was on one path, and then he got diverted from that path by the Jericho Vortex, and now we are plagued with the question of whether one was better than the other for him.
Oh God, they should have left him Brian. I'm always gonna feel that way.
You should have
his
just
stuff
kept
with
him Red
Brian-
Death.
His story with Brian is the best thing he ever did in the company. The fucking matches he had with Brian, the 2 out of 3 falls, the Dragon Slayer finisher. Get the fuck
Dragon
out of here!
Slayer character was great.
Oh man,
But like
Yeah.
the version of that story where he is with Brian from the beginning.
he joins the Blackpool Combat Club.
The
Guys, I
original
think you're
goal
forgetting
of
the
Blackpool Combat Club, where it was this training school.
I think you're forgetting the biggest part of this is that Daniel Garcia is still the PWG World Champion.
Jesus,
Oh,
PWG is
please.
fucking dead, Mac. Please don't bring up the memories. That's fucked up. You
Leave the
can-
Leave the memories alone.
Yeah.
Actually, really is sad, but we got the main event.
I am certain. I haven't heard this, but I would be willing to believe it that there are a genuine sect of people that think that company should have just gone down with the Reseda building.
That's fucked up. I think that there was a lot.
I like the Globe
to
Theater.
offer.
The Globe Theater was cool.
Globe Theater was very cool. Lots of cool luchas I discovered.
Yes.
It's a good looking place, but no, there's no. He wants you dark. That's not happening.
We have that. We have that. It's
Please.
called Ring of Honor.
Yeah, that-
Main event time.
We'll talk about the main event. Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson for the AEW World Championship. The final countdown. Title versus career. I personally can't decide if I don't know what direction we're going here, but my heart says Bryan Danielson is going to win. And I don't know if that's because I want it or because he's so fucking heavy-handed with this I don't care if I win thing. Like I'm broken, my body's dying, and I don't know if I'm gonna make it.
Like, this was one of the issues, and we were talking about this a lot on the Dynamite recap, was for the weeks leading up through to this match, I was 100% sure thing that it's going to be Swerve. But after everything that Danielson did at the very end of the Swerve, at the very end of Dynamite, getting his payback on Swerve, and just the intensity that he's bringing back to the table, the fire of the old school Danielson, like, I almost think that this is going to be a Danielson moment. I don't know what it is, but my wrestling brain is saying it's Danielson.
It's the way they're telling the story. It doesn't make sense for him to lose.
Right?
They sacrificed a lot of time, a lot of retail for this story to tell us that Brian feels like he's old and he's dying and he's not going to make it past Wembley. And he'll put his career on the line because he wants to get shot like fucking Old Yeller. And they've got Jeff Jarrett telling him to fix himself. And they've got Eddie Kingston telling him to fix himself. And he fucking finally comes this week after all these weeks. He finally fires up. He finally makes me feel something. And he's like, I'm the best fucking wrestler in the world, and I have been for 20 years. And so after all this, he's going to go into All In and just lose. What the fuck kind of loser ass storyline did you just make me fucking watch for the end of Bryan Danielson's career?
Probably one that, arguably one that was not intended to be this way.
It stinks. But
if what we believed was the case, which is like they kind of hot-shotted it to Bryan because like his actual physical health, you know, was not what he'd hoped it to be at the last run.
The way they're setting this Hangman thing up, I'm starting to think that maybe having Hangman fuck Swerve out of the biggest moment of his life was the narrative that they were always looking for, rather than Hangman and Swerve having the biggest moment together. I mentioned that on the Dynamite show. I don't know if I started, but because of the Hangman interview that they put out, this big ass Hangman in character interview they put out earlier through Paste magazine, I want to say, some of the things that he was saying in there kind of made me feel like that he's absolutely going to be involved in the main event on Sunday. Beyond just the fact that he wants to win this casino battle royal, and he still wants Swerve. He mentioned in the promo tonight, like, I want him dead. I want to take everything from him. I think the story they're trying to tell, it might be more impactful if he robbed Swerve of this moment. But then I'm like, why didn't we just wait to bring him back if that was the case? Like, it would have actually surprised the shit out of everyone if Hangman was nowhere to be found until fucking Wembley, and then rob Swerve right here and then.
Which almost makes me think of the idea that, like, what if Swerve and Hangman have some sort of like promo segment in the back, and Swerve plants a seed of doubt that ends up costing Hangman the casino gauntlet, and he's the one that gets pinned, and he just takes it out on Swerve later in the main event.
He's this real emotional character, but I would have liked it better if he calculated it, at least. Because if he has to get fucking, because like this is the best opportunity. Like if we're looking at this as like a story beyond like just an actual story, just looking at, like, and it's hard to do that with wrestling because sometimes the wrestling it overpowers the fucking narrative storytelling. Like, but just looking at it as a story, this Hangman character, like, I'm rooting for this guy. They broke into his house, touched his baby, all this shit. He couldn't get full revenge the way he wanted, and now this guy, he's being celebrated by everybody. I would like if this Hangman thought about waiting for this moment. I couldn't get it any other way. I tried, and I failed at that fucking tournament, and now I sat and I thought, and I realized this is what I want to do. I would hate it if he just had to be emotionally triggered at the show. Like, brother, you couldn't think of this? All these weeks you've been here, you didn't think I'm gonna fuck this guy here and then. You thought about it tonight? I don't know.
But I think there's the level though of him costing in this big match, this big moment in front of so many tens of thousands of people. I think that itself is something that he could have been calculating.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want him to have thought of it a couple weeks ago at least. Like, rather than Swerve saying something to him and then he loses the casino match and then he's like, now I'm gonna do it. I'm like, damn, are you a fucking idiot? That's still then forgive him.
I mean,
a fucking idiot in
Adam Page might be a
match.
fucking idiot, but that's
But
a
it's
whole
Hangman
other
Adam
thing.
Page. I was just gonna say, Greg.
It reminds me that whole thing he went on reminds me of two things. One, it reminds me of like maybe not my favorite version, but of one of my favorite ideas, which is just it's the Bret Austin thing where like Austin did all these bad things to me. I'm the good guy. Why are they on his side?
Exactly.
I wish it was done as well as Bret and Austin, but I get that that is the thematic energy we're going for here.
The nuance aspect.
Is there anything in the prize here that suggests that Adam Page can call in that shot at any point?
You know,
Caesar asked that earlier.
Yeah, he did, and I thought that they haven't mentioned that at all in the build to the casino match. And if they start mentioning that on Sunday,
you're just sitting there going, "Oh, you just gave it away."
Remember, they did that before when Killswitchosaurus all of a sudden wins a battle royal that he gets a shot whenever he wants, which they didn't announce until right before the battle royal, which was the last time we also saw Danhausen. Also, fellas, speaking of last time, this is also I'll be heading to bed now. So good night, everyone. Have a great show, y'all.
Bye, Nick.
Have a good night. But yeah.
That's what I was thinking of as we were all talking, as you guys were all talking about it. It's just like, well, is there the possibility that Adam Page could just cash in the shot immediately after either one of them win it?
Where does he get
but namely Swerve
from?
It's
the battle
possible
royal
that he wins this battle royal or gauntlet. Excuse me. They're really
the gauntlet. Yeah,
all in on this gauntlet too. They like it.
Are they now?
A couple of that. Oh god damn it! I didn't mean that. I liked both times that they did it. It honestly surprised me because I don't like battle royales very much. But the gauntlet, something about it being a gauntlet, just made it a lot better. I don't know what the fuck it is, but these things hit a little harder as gauntlet matches. Maybe it's that pinfall. I don't know.
Maybe
like, that shit works.
Maybe
and doing it on this big stage, I kind of was like, "Yo, you lazy booking," but we'll see how they use it narratively, especially in regards to this main event.
Go Brian.
Go Brian, for sure. What do you think, though, Greg and Mac? What do you think about this match? Who's gonna win? How are we moving forward?
My head is telling. You go ahead, Greg.
I assume we have the same answer. My head is telling me that it's the simplest path is the best one, which is like Brian loses and retires at the big Wembley show, and then we move on with the Swerve and Adam Page stuff. But like I understand what you meant about the big Washington show too. Maybe he wants to retire in his hometown, so I get that. It's just that's the weird thing about that becomes we had this retirement match set up, and instead you retire at the show very close to it. I
wonder if, and again, you would know this more than I would, Greg. Shane Douglas, 1999, ECW title.
Yeah,
Fane's dying, broken.
Shane's dying, broken body.
cut my fucking music.
I don't know. Brian, he had mentioned in so many interviews, he started talking about it so publicly, and I'm thinking, I took him at face value, but I'm always like, it's also wrestling, and it's also Bryan Danielson.
He loves the lie.
Bryan Danielson, the fucking liar.
I wonder how much of this is work. It's part of, like I said, my heart is telling me Bryan Danielson, and I don't know how much of that is because I want it to be.
A lot of it is.
So what my big thing is, John, is that when Brian was coming out at the middle of the year, maybe around like April or May, saying like, yeah, this is it for me, but I'm gonna come back and maybe do some part-time matches, maybe wrestle once in a while, maybe like 1 or 2 times a year. And then all of a sudden he's like, I'm putting my career on the line. I will never wrestle again. But he was also talking a couple of months ago about wanting to maybe have his last match at the Tacoma Dome. Then for them to put this stipulation in that he'll never wrestle again, and then he's talking about his neck, it's like, oh shit, did the doctor say like, yeah, your neck's really bad, you can have one more match, but that's it. You're not, and then after the next surgery, you'll never be the same again. You'll never be able to wrestle again. Or is he just doing the Cody taught me how to lie, I love to lie, like type thing,
Sure. I mean, yeah, both of those responses are very possible. That's what I was like. I thought it was very interesting before the way it seemed that like there's the rumblings that the tide had really turned on the actual health and physicality that Daniel was going to be able to have. And the big thing that he's always trumpeted is that like there is no adjustment for Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson is going to wrestle as Bryan Danielson, or he is going to stop.
Yeah, he doesn't do a half version of Bryan Danielson. He's only himself.
Yeah.
I mean,
look, there's also a report.
Doing a great job of blending reality and kayfabe. They're doing a great job.
There was also the report of actual medical restriction on Bryan Danielson. So I wonder how much of that is true. Because we had our own little evidence that he might have actually been, hurt based on how much he's been used, the kind of matches he's been having leading up to Wembley. I believe that there's some truth to this. I believe there's definitely truth to this, and that's what makes it so interesting, is that there's definitely truth to Bryan needing a neck surgery. There's probably truth to him being under medical restriction, but he's playing it up to this retirement thing, at least for Wembley. That's kind of the feeling that I'm getting now. Like I said, I really want him to win the world title. I just want him to win the damn world championship. I want him to feel good. I'm gonna be a happy boy. I'm gonna predict Bryan Danielson. That's my prediction for Sunday.
What do you think to the people who say that the company needs him to win it?
I don't think it makes a difference either way. If he wins or not on Sunday, I don't think that's gonna change business. I don't think it's gonna move mountains. I think it's a feel-good moment for everybody who watches, everybody who's been watching for a long time.
Sure.
Bryan Danielson fans get that final world championship win. Listen, he has done it all. All right, I just want this one thing. Just give me fucking give it to me as a Bryan fan. Come on. I got the AEW title back there. I want to look at it and know Bryan Danielson had that thing.
Now, John, would it surprise you one way or another? Either way, like, would you be shocked? Like, so say if Swerve hits the house call, hits the Swerve stomp, it's over. 1, 2, 3. Bryan's in the ring. Swerve celebrating. Does that shock you?
Anything but the JML driver. My God.
Knowing Bryan, it will be the JML driver. But
say that scenario happens. Does that shock you? Do you go, oh fuck, oh my God, he's really retiring?
In the way that Shawn Michaels' retirement shocked me, in that there was a lot of evidence that it was real, but I still was like, maybe there was, bro. The weekend, not the weekend. Right before he retired, they released an HBK Blu-ray set, or not Blu-ray, excuse me, DVD set. I don't remember what the name of it was, but in the set,
is it like Triumph and something?
Heartbreak and Triumph. It might have been that one, but I feel like it wasn't. I feel like it was a match compilation.
Okay.
And it had a video in the front of it, a retrospective of his whole career. And I watched that shit and I was like, oh. Like,
Oh, it's over.
like, oh, fuck. He's gonna retire. But then the match happens, and I'm still thinking like, there's a lot of evidence that he's not. Like, it's Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels again, right? Like, how is he gonna lose twice? I'm like, come on, like, you know. And then he loses anyway, and I was like shocked, but also like I knew this could happen, but what the fuck? Like, it's actually happening. So it will probably be something like that. Like, there's gonna be their first disappointment that he didn't win the title.
That's
And then
interesting. I remember going into that match and knowing it was done for Shawn.
Like I said, I only knew because of that video package.
I get that. Like, I remember I feel like I knew for like a year that this was it.
I didn't think of. I just never really thought of it at that time. I guess it was still too early for me to think of him that way.
Sure.
For me, but you had him, and then you lost him, and then you got him back. I only ever
No. We didn't get him back. No, we never got Shawn Michaels back. That never
Oh,
happened. What are you talking about? What
No,
match was that? Did I
I'm
miss Shawn
talking
Michaels
about.
coming
I'm
back?
talking
What
about
happened? What?
'98.
He's talking about the Triple H match, Mac.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I said,
2002
because you
SummerSlam
got
match. Okay.
you got him back, so you always felt like it was a fleeting thing too. Like, you
God,
always
my
had.
temperature was rising again.
I'm passing another one, you guys.
I gave him a fucking kidney stone.
I'm about to shut my camera off again. guys.
No, but so I feel like you might have had a different perspective. I only ever had the second version of HBK, and
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because you came in later, and yeah.
Look,
I mean, and ironically, his last match in that first run was my first WrestleMania main event. So,
Really?
He's just passing. Yeah, it is.
Look, I'm 40.
You only got to see Shawn Michaels fucking wreck his spine and then leave.
Yeah.
No, not even that. Like the first Shawn Michaels match you ever saw was like him in tremendous pain.
Broken back. Who was that old man? Doesn't matter. He's gone.
Have you rewatched it recently?
I
I
haven't.
remember.
It's just watch it again sometime, and like you can see Shawn go from like maybe fueled up on pain pills and adrenaline, like he's kind of Shawn Michaels, and then the match keeps going, and then you can notice like I'll put it to you this way: in the beginning of the match, when he goes to pick up Austin, he can bend down and pick him up. When he goes to pick up Austin like 15 minutes into the match, it's a full squat. That back ain't doing shit.
When he's climbing that rope, Greg, to do that elbow drop, he's hurt.
I gotta watch that back. I haven't seen
The
that. shit in a
camera
long
just
time.
catches his face, and he's just like, "I fucking hate this. I don't want to be here."
Guys, I don't mean to be. I'm like better than anybody, but guess who was at WrestleMania 14? Hold on, wait a minute.
Oh, fuck you! I had a feeling too. You were in Boston. Why wouldn't you be? Hell yeah!
I was there.
My
Listen,
first
I mean,
show.
I'm 42. Okay, I was
100.
so in 1998 I was 16. So I remember like the Shawn Michaels I remember is the Shawn Michaels where Sensational Sherry was holding up the heart mirror and everything, and that's the Shawn Michaels. I mean Shawn Michaels blue pants. Shawn Michaels 95 SummerSlam, the second ladder match with Razor Ramon, where they were like, yeah, you can't use the ladder as a weapon. Like
The Soma started wearing off.
but no, getting Shawn Michaels back. But you know what's crazy about that Shawn Michaels run is that he won the title in 2002, right? Or 2002. He won the title. He dropped it like a month later, and then he never sniffed the world title ever again
No,
in his
he
career.
didn't, and I don't think he wanted to. But I would have been okay if he had beat Cena at least once. But it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I mean, he got I think everybody was satisfied when he beat Cena in that 55-minute match in London. I think that was like his world title win.
Sure.
But just bringing it back to the Bryan Danielson of it all, I don't if it's really over this Sunday, as of right now, I'm not ready. Like, I'm not looking at it as a possibility. I don't know. I'm not looking at it as the retirement. I should be, just in case it is, but I'm not. I'm not ready to look at it that way. I guess I don't want to yet.
He's fucking T'Challa in the Field of Reeds. I'm not ready to be without you.
No, for real. Like, I'm not. It's a whole different world without him in it. It is. It really is like a big asshole.
And you know what's
I'm
really
not
funny
ready.
about that too is that like Bryan Danielson has had such an impact on my life since like 2004. Like anytime someone said to me, "Hey, if you want to get into wrestling, what should I watch?" And I remember back in like 05, do you remember when Austin Aries and Bryan Danielson had like that 75-minute match?
God.
I was just talking to Greg about it. The 450 into the nuts.
Yeah. And I said, I showed my friend Paul that match on DVD.
Why?
You are a brave man.
I showed him that match, and he became a fan of Bryan Danielson from that match, right? Then we ended up going to. So then get this, right? So my friend had gotten me tickets to Glory by Honor Night 2 in 2006 at the Manhattan Center. And
we were both at that then.
And I saw Kenta versus Bryan Danielson.
Oh shit! You guys were there. Fuck you!
Yeah.
Both of you get out. Both of you go away. Get out. Get out of here. They both want to be at one of the greatest matches of all time. The nerve not to know me, not to invite me. This is insane. I refuse to allow this, actually.
06. I was sick. I couldn't go to 06 Final Battle. But no, I mean, my friend got into professional wrestling because of Bryan Danielson. I don't think I've bonded with anybody more over matches with anybody than Bryan Danielson, honestly.
Here's my thing, right? Just I talk about Bryan Danielson as my favorite wrestler, and it's like a sports thing or whatever. But if you really want to get into it, when Chris Benoit died, it was hard. I didn't want a favorite wrestler again. It was weird. He was my favorite fucking wrestler in the world. Chris Benoit. Like, what? I didn't want to fill that spot. And then, I did. Bryan Danielson was the one. He fucking kept me watching WWE when I would have rather eaten the fucking poison fruit. It was like I would watch 3 hours of Raw to see what Bryan Danielson was going to be doing with the Bellas. I watched NXT's garbage reality show to see what Bryan Danielson...
That was too much.
I watched the shit out of that fucking horrible show to see what Bryan Danielson was going to be doing on WWE television.
Hey, do you remember when Bryan got eliminated and they were backstage and Matt Striker asked him what he was going to do, and he goes, I guess I have to go away for a while. I guess Daniel Bryan's dead. He goes, in the return of Bryan Danielson. I was like, oh shit!
I remember thinking that meant something, and he goes and he's like, yeah, that was just me. I thought I was going to be going to the Indies. I thought I was fucked. I thought I was done. But yeah, so he kept me watching wrestling all this time. I remember when he retired, it was fucking gut wrenching. Like how could you do this? But it was also he had been going through a lot, and they had he had finally reached the zenith in WWE, and then the neck issues, and they fucking took the titles from him, and it was and then when he came back, it was never the same. In that little weird in between period, that small little baby run that happened in between the world titles and his actual retirement, it always felt off. This feels different. This feels like losing him forever. Like, I don't know what wrestling's gonna look like for me after he's gone, and I'm not sure I want to think about that right now. I don't know how. Is he my tether? Like, am I gonna lose my tether? What happened to me?
Is he your anchor being? Is your timeline going to die?
Oh, Jesus.
I don't want to think about it. It's so weird. I don't want to be without Bryan. I really don't.
I've got like a few interesting, like, I guess, tentpole moments with Bryan Danielson. One, I'll be the first to admit, like, I didn't get him at first, so like the moment where I found out that I did enjoy Bryan Danielson, it was just like, oh, I feel like a smarter wrestling fan now.
Yeah.
Like when I got it, I was just like, oh yeah, this is what's good about him.
He smelled his fart in the glass. That's what they thought about Ring of Honor fans, by the way. This is how they felt about all Ring of Honor fans. Like, we all felt like we were smarter than everybody else.
Yeah. It's a big part of what fueled that fucking like CCW program. It was just like, those dudes are idiots. Fuck those guys.
Yeah. And then those snobby ass fucking Ring of Honor fans.
Yeah.
Can I just address
being a
that
snob.
something that Jesus said really quick about the show where Brian announced where he was back and Sammy and fucking KO beat his ass. So I remember that show. I remember they had announced that he was coming back on social media and that he is unretiring, and then he had the promo to start the show, and then he got his ass kicked by KO and Sammy. I was always of the thought that it would have been so much more brutal if they didn't tell us that Brian had been cleared and KO and Sammy had done that. I always thought it would have made them look more like, oh my God, they're attacking a guy who's not medically cleared. He just took a bump on the ring apron. Like, I always thought that it would have been better if they never announced that he was coming back and he took those bumps, and then they did a storyline where he's like, I'm going to get myself cleared. I'm going to come back. I know they only had about 4 weeks between that and WrestleMania, but man, imagine if they had done that show where KO and Sammy had kicked his ass and they hadn't announced that he had been cleared.
In a different world, I agree with you, but like they'd have to explain themselves to people.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. That's probably exactly why they announced that he's coming back, so that they don't get any questions when he gets his ass beat tonight.
Yeah. I meant to also say no. The other memories with him. The one Mac talked about, which is like still for me the greatest match I've ever seen live and in person. Bryan Danielson and Kenta Corbin. I was a miserable shit that night because I had the inflamed tonsil problem at the swallow. But still, it was the greatest thing I'd ever seen in person. Also, I think it was like the rare New York City TV show that Greg finds himself at. Show where they make the announcement, where John Cena makes the announcement that Bryan Danielson will be the opponent at SummerSlam, and my ass is yesing my fucking head off in the crowd with everybody else. Feeling like he willed it to happen.
SummerSlam?
Huh?
Fuck. I said, were you at that SummerSlam?
No, not at SummerSlam.
Guys,
The match where Cena announces that Daniel Bryan is going to be his opponent.
So, John, to make you a little bit more jealous, I was probably so drunk because I was drinking at the time. I don't remember any of these. I only remember the Bryan and Kenta match. But that show had Davey Richards versus Jack Evans, Adam Pearce versus Delirious, Jimmy Jacobs, Christopher Daniels, and Colt Cabana in a three-way. Homicide and Samoa Joe versus the Briscoes. Claudio and Hero versus Aries and Roderick Strong. Narumichi Marufuji versus Nigel McGuinness for the GHC heavyweight title.
That's an awesome ass match.
That's the only other match I remember.
Bryan versus Kent. Yeah, that's the only one I remember too. I was probably so drunk. Thank God I quit drinking.
Leave the memories alone. They're always there. But when it comes to matches, fucking hell, I think I was lucky. I was lucky to be at a couple of incredible Bryan moments match wise. The Bryan Kenny one is always going to be.
Yeah, me and John got to go to that together.
We finally did. God damn it, Greg. And it was it was special though. It was like just that being there. I don't know what it is. Like I said, I remember when we walked in. I remember telling everybody like, "This is so cool. Look how they lit it." There was something special about being in the building that you'll never see on television. They lit it like if we were in the clouds. They lit it with light blue and light pink. And for whatever reason, they were lighting. Maybe they wanted to be cute. Maybe they do this all the time. But they were lighting all the matches with different colorways in the building that night. And for the Brian and Kenny one, they had like a light blue, light pink, dream-ish.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember seeing
Feeling.
pictures of that. Yeah.
In the air, and it felt like such a special moment. And then there was also the Kofi Mania moment I was at. Kofi fucking Mania. Like,
I will argue that I could not see that because of the seats I had.
Oh yeah, show. Fuck you! Oh, I can't see the lights because I'm too close to the ring. Eat a dick.
So you guys want a? You guys want an underrated Brian match that I was at?
Go for it.
So, 2009 Final Countdown Tour Boston. The main event was Bryan Danielson versus Davey Richards, and it's maybe, I want to say, the fourth best match I've ever seen live. I would still say number one is Bryan and Kenta. Number two, I would probably say, is Nigel McGuinness and Aries when Nigel got concussed like 2 seconds into the match. And I would say probably the Young Bucks versus Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish from War of the Worlds 2014. And my final one would probably be Bryan and Davey Richards.
Okay. John, I can't hear.
That was a fire match.
Yes, it was. Those.
Oh, hello. I was talking to like an idiot.
Yes, you were.
I didn't know I was fucking muted. But the Jesus brought up this Bryan versus Cena match, and I'm remembering that night. I remember that night very fucking vividly because I never in a gazillion fucking years thought that Bryan would be winning the title this night. Nothing about this storyline said Bryan Danielson is going to be winning the WWE Championship. And to this day, I'm not sure that they even would have done that if Cena didn't have that fucking ball in his elbow.
Yeah.
And I don't even know that they thought Bryan would win the title when they booked him to be in that match. But
much less to say doing the most anti-WWE thing, Bryan wins with a move you've never seen him use before.
Wins the WWE Championship, pins John Cena clean with a move he's never used on television before, or really at all, unless in the Kenta matches as a reversal thing, because he was using Kenta's move.
No, he wasn't.
He did it when he was the No, he was using it when he was the GHC light heavyweight champion.
Because that was Kenta's finish. That was Kenta's move. That's where he got that move from.
Yeah, that was his finish before he decided to just use to go to sleep.
Yep.
Yeah, John, that Davey Richards and Bryan Danielson match on Cage Match has a 9.33.
I vaguely remember this is part of the Final Countdown tour, wasn't it?
It is. The match was 36 minutes and 6 seconds.
That's an awesome match. I remember that, and it's in the Wrestling Road Diaries. I think Bryan wrestled that with a flu.
Yeah, dude, that match.
The flu game?
Hard, yeah.
Yeah. Why do I know this? I'm such a Bryan Danielson fucking nerd. Anyway, but yeah, that match, that's like one of my favorite WWE moments for Bryan because like the WrestleMania one was big and it felt like, we fought to get to it and it felt like the big one. But this little one was just like, this is so not like such a not like no fucking way Bryan Danielson came to WWE and pinned John Cena with Kenta's move. Like, what the fuck? Very great moment. We don't like to think about what happened next.
The knee plus.
Thank you for being at Bryan versus Adam Page. I love those matches. I never got to see even one of them live. But yeah, that's the AEW All In prediction section of the show. That was the whole show. It was the entire episode. And my camera died just in time. There it is. Look at that.
We're not going to talk about Mini
No, we
British
will.
Bryan Danielson?
We actually have to, because we can't do an episode of this without talking about the G1 climax. God damn it!
God damn it.
So
Zack
Zack
Sabre Jr.
wins.
He does. He does. He won over Yota Tsuji, who I was telling Greg that I thought Yota Tsuji was guaranteed. Well, I really thought they were gonna run back Yota Tsuji versus Naito.
Yeah.
At Wrestle Kingdom. I actually thought that when Tsuji first lost to Naito, I was like, oh,
Yes.
they're gonna win this back.
So I was all in on Yota Tsuji, and then they said something that made me go, oh damn it, they're not gonna do it.
What was that?
They kept talking about if Yoda wins, he'd be the first guy to win the New Japan Cup and the G1 in the same year. And I was just like, oh, they're not gonna do it.
Oh, fuck. I didn't think of that. Actually, I never thought of that. Not once. If I had thought of that early in the G1, I would not have been so gung ho on
So
Yota
also
Tsuji.
on the Yota Tsuji train.
Yeah. I was certain. I was certain that he was gonna win this thing. Especially
So
when
what
he's
do
in
you-
the finals too. I was like, oh yeah, hell yeah.
What do you guys think about Zack Sabre Jr. foregoing his match at the Tokyo Dome and taking it at King of Pro Wrestling in October so that he can go to, what is it? What's the show in England?
Royal Quest.
Royal Quest 4 as the IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
Did he specifically say that?
He did.
Yep.
Okay.
He did. He wants
So
to
what do
go
we-
to England as champion.
So, I mean, I know that Zack Sabre Jr. winning the title is a wet dream for everybody, and Naito is a broken down mess, but he's still a draw over in Japan. So, my heart, much like Brian and Swerve, my heart says Zack Sabre, but my mind says that Naito's main eventing the Dome no matter what.
I think you're underestimating just how broken Naito is.
He is
I've
broken,
been-
but I think
like,
you're
no, but, like,
underestimating how much
human
of a draw
bodies.
he is. Yeah.
like human bodies don't care about that stuff. Like numbers don't matter to a set of eyes that are rapidly declining. Like how do you fix eyes? You can't get eye replacement. He's slowly going fucking blind. His
knees are shot.
fucked. Knees are entirely fucked. I don't think that being a draw matters at this point. I think they need to get the belt off of him as soon as possible and maybe get him some rest.
Is it crazy how good Naito was just 2 years ago, and just how fast his decline was?
Yeah, but I mean that's the style in New Japan and
I mean,
how
those
long
matches
he was
with
wrestling
Kenny
it.
alone. Those matches with Kenny alone.
The matches
those took years.
The matches with Ibushi, I don't know if you remember when they were fucking
Oh,
doing
yeah.
those All
Killing
Japan
each other.
neck bumps.
Yeah.
That was wild. I wouldn't be surprised if those specifically took years off his career.
Mhm.
But
That the punishment his knees went through with the first knee surgery, which is why he had to stop doing the Stardust Press,
R.I.P.
Yep.
I really missed that move.
and the eye injury. Which didn't the eye injury come from all the way back in Mexico?
I am honestly not sure. I know that the eye taunt came from Mexico.
Yes, it did. It came from racism.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
the between the eye injury, the bad knees, and just the match with fucking Moxley was hard to watch. I didn't watch any of Naito's G1 matches just because I don't want to see it.
But you know what's
Takeshita,
funny is
though.
that the match with Moxley, the first one that they had at New Japan Strong in America, that match wasn't bad. The match was kind of it was passable. The one where Moxley won the title, it was actually a good match. I enjoyed it.
That's because Moxley was grappling and doing ground stuff and
Yeah.
really helping that along. Which,
Yeah.
by the way, Moxley's been really Moxley's change as a wrestler has been really interesting to watch compared to his
Dude,
early when he first left WWE compared to I guess after he started messing with Josh Barnett.
Oh, dude! I mean, you go back, you go back and watch some of those Dean Ambrose segments in WWE, and then you look at John Moxley now, and they look like two different people.
No, but I don't mean like segment wise. I mean like in the ring wise. I mean not even WWE. I mean like the first 3 years in AEW. That John Moxley, like the John Moxley that was world champion the first time, the John Moxley that wrestled.
You mean like him transitioning from like brawler to just like mat based?
Yeah, it's
grappler.
Wild, insane to watch. Honestly, some people hate it. I'm like, I don't know why. I think he's very good. Like, I like him.
The thing is that John Moxley to me, like. You've probably seen this with other wrestlers. John Moxley knows how to do all the things, but it does not have the crispness that other guys do it with, so it looks ugly to them.
That's why I like it. You know, that's okay, what makes it work for me. Like, that's why it looks like he always gives the vibes of a dude just an absolute nut job who walked into an arena and decided that he can do this thing. And so that kind of transfers over into the MMA style grappling that he's doing now. It kind of looks like just another guy who's like, I'm gonna do this shit, and it goes and it works.
You know what I think about when I think about that, John, is I think about the 5-star match that CM Punk and John Cena had at Money in the Bank 2011. If you go back and watch that match, like. Cena's falling down on his ass. CM Punk is falling down on his ass. There's a couple of times where CM Punk slips and a couple of times where John Cena fucks up a move. But that's what made the match special, that it wasn't like a choreographed fight. It was like, oh, I'm going for this. Whoops, I slipped. Okay, yeah, I'm human. And that's what made it so real for me. And when you get the realism with Moxley, like just being, I'm not going to say sloppy because that's not what I mean, but what I'm saying is like you get that grittiness and you get that brawler style, and you go, oh shit, this guy's completely different from everybody else because he's not polished, he's not overly produced, he's just like a guy who stumbled in the ring and decided to fight.
He's like if Sandman could wrestle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and to that extent,
I gotta take off. Sorry.
Okay.
I'll see you guys later. It was good talking to you.
Have a good night.
Later.
Good morning. To that extent, I'll always argue that like, too much polish takes away from the intensity. Love him to death.
Like a video game.
Love him to death. Christopher Daniels is too good sometimes. Right?
Everything falls right into place.
Everything falls right into place. It's so pretty. It's so good looking, but it's so good looking that it feels showy and it feels like, you know, it never feels like Christopher Daniels is in a fight. It's like Christopher Daniels is in a very well crafted wrestling performance.
A lot of wrestlers today have that issue too.
Yeah.
That's what that's kind of one of the biggest things you always notice. Like I would say when I'm doing like a binge watch of like all Japan stuff, and then I go back to like having to watch the weekly, I'm like, oh, it all looks so, everything's so perfect. Everybody falls into the right spot. None of it looks like a struggle. I miss that a lot.
Like you watch a fucking Kawada match and it feels like, you know, like they're doing a little bit and then Kawada just clubs somebody in the back of the head. It's just like it doesn't feel like it fit into place.
It has no rhythm. They're just like beating the shit out of each other, but it does fall into the right place. Like everything is exactly the way it should be, but it doesn't feel like it. It's rough. It's a fight.
Yeah,
I enjoy it.
Absolutely. Other than that, if we're talking about just guys like Moxie and all those stuff being like, you know, just kind of rough in there, I've always thought that really adds to the intensity of everything they do. Like it matters more when I think Mox is beating this guy's ass.
Oh, for sure.
I know there's an ugliness behind it.
like I said, it kind of matches the entirety of who he presents himself as. It all falls into place for Mox. That's why I love Mox. But getting back to the G1,
Absolutely.
Takeshita is like the standout performer this year, which is crazy. Because he don't work there. He don't work there at all.
Have you seen it?
I haven't. All I've seen is that he's gotten most of the conversation.
You didn't see the final.
No, I have not seen the final.
I thought that was the most interesting thing they could have done, in the sense, was because it, like, my interpretation of the entire thing was like, okay, Takeshita's gonna lose to I think it was Shingo.
Yeah, because we thought it could be Shingo versus Suji.
Yeah, Takeshi's gonna lose to Takeshi's gonna lose to Shingo, so Shingo will go to the semifinals because Shingo in the semifinals makes sense, and that's gonna be the end of his run. And then the main event came for the finals, and they brought Konosuke to sit down at ringside. I was like, what? Why? Why? What is your story, New Japan?
They like this child. They like this kid. They want him.
You know, like I'm like, no, wait, I thought he was done. Why would you have him talk? No, this is where you hide him away. What are you doing?
That's crazy. I didn't know. I actually didn't know they did that. That's interesting. They don't usually do that.
Not without a reason, right?
No. What are you planning here? Is that what they're thinking of for Wrestle?
Yeah, like it'd be one thing. It'd be one thing if they just. It might be like it'd be one thing if he was just at ringside. Like, no, they put him on camera walking to the desk
to do commentary, right? For the final match. That's interesting. I wonder what he said.
I think I don't remember if they did, but like I think they set him right next to Chono, which I was just like,
We gotta see that. I gotta see what they're doing with that, because I was thinking about Zack Sabre Jr.'s trajectory too. If he wins this title, King of Pro Wrestling,
yes.
What the fuck is he doing at the Tokyo Dome? And for that matter, what is he doing the next night, or at Wrestle Dynasty?
Yeah, that's interesting. I wanted to believe that, you know, they put themselves in a situation where they can run back the finals in a rematch at the Kingdom, but like I also get what Max says about, you know, Naito being a draw, but like Jesus Christ, I think that's a bad move for the main event.
I have a friend of mine suggested they should do a New Japan bracket of the Continental Classic, and then have the New Japan and AEW finalists face each other at Wrestle Kingdom.
That's a long time for them to be away.
I don't know if they would have to be away as much as you can just do the matches over there.
I guess. Didn't they kind of do that once and it was weird?
Did they? Oh,
what was that, Stardom?
They did it with the women. They did the what was it called? But this was during the pandemic. They just wanted to give women jobs.
Yeah, because Shida was having all of her matches in Japan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maki was there, Venny. But
that was weird.
Jesus brought up there was a 2 out of 3 falls match. Excuse me. Between Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole. NXT.
And NXT?
Yeah,
okay.
NXT TakeOver New York City.
Yes.
Do you remember this match, Greg?
Absolutely fucking not.
No. You might. It's the match where a lot of people feel like they might have taken it overboard with the
false finishes?
With the false finishes. Yeah. It's
that sounds like the two of them.
I don't remember if it was like 5 or 6 or 7. I don't remember how many times they did it, but it was enough for people to be really weird about it. When I watched this, I was there. I was I was at NXT New York, and I remember really having a lot of fun with this match. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I didn't think it was the greatest thing in the world because I did think at the end it got a little obnoxious.
With the finishers.
The finishers. Because I'm like, what are we doing now? Like, what could you possibly do next? Oh my god.
Yeah.
And then Gunther and Pete Dunne had a match that night that I thought was better. That I had a lot of fun with, but he was still Walter back then. Good times.
Good times.
Good times. But
Water.
I hate this match. Some people hate this. Hate this match. I can't believe that. I can't believe. I mean, knowing it, I guess, knowing what it is, I guess I can understand. Like, oh, that's the match with all those finishes. I fucking hate that. I don't want to watch that. But like,
Yeah.
I just remember being there and having a blast and realizing at the end, like, oh, they're doing too much.
I get that. I think it can be obnoxious. Like I cited the return match between Okada and Kenny, and I think it's just, I always think it's more clever to find ways around the big finish than to just hit it and kick out. You know?
Like, yeah.
I know it's a little difficult at times because the programming, the way it is, has been built around, like, the match really only wins after the finish, so obviously they keep going for it. But like, I just think it works a lot better when you keep finding clever ways around hitting those things instead of just hitting them and kicking out of them multiple times, because, you know, the law of diminishing returns, they lose their oomph.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is with that. But Jesus says he feels like that's where the Johnny Gargano hate started. I don't know. I feel like they just booked Johnny into hell, and now people see him as a jobber because that's the way they booked him.
Maybe, like, my problem wasn't Johnny Gargano losing in that era. My problem was Johnny Gargano being a dummy.
He was pretty stupid. He would lose because of his own stupidity a lot.
Yeah, like you lost to a handcuffed man because you were an idiot.
He busted his own knee in the last man standing match.
Yeah,
Johnny Dumbass.
And it's like Johnny Dumbass. Yeah. And like, I get it in a sense. Like, you had to keep finding ways for, like, Ciampa to not get beat, but, like, god damn it, there's only so many times you could do it at Johnny's expense.
Yeah, but even on the main roster, even after that, they kind of booked Johnny like a lower card talent. That's unfortunate.
Small fish, big sea at that point, right? At this point, as much as narratively it bugs me, the safest place for him is back in that tag team with Ciampa.
And even then, they gave them a moment at least. Like, we can't give you a run.
Yeah.
We can get the best you can get. The best we got for you is a moment. Take it.
People are still very uncomfortable with them still using the Shatter Machine.
I'll take the moment.
Huh?
Listen, they'll take the moment. What can you do?
I said, people are still very uncomfortable with using the Shatter Machine as just like a transitional move.
I thought it was cute once in Toronto. I'm not sure why wrestlers always do that.
Take the thing that was cute once in its right place, and it's like, let's keep doing it. No.
Yeah, let's keep fucking it up. Oh, wait. Never mind.
I mean, that was our problem with the Storm Driver, right?
That was my issue with the whole thing, and Ospreay justified it by saying he hit it as many times as Misawa. I was like, as Misawa's whole career, though, like, you still got a lot of career left.
It was in less than a year, dog.
You're like, he did that shit over 20 or 15.
Also, as many times as Misawa? Is that so?
Is that true? Is it true? And I mean, to be fair, it's not like every single one of them. It wasn't like it was protected as the burning hammer, but still.
Has anyone? Kawada kicked out of it, I think, at the end.
He definitely Kawada definitely kicked out of it. Kawada kicked out of that because that's why Misawa comes up with the other move. Oh, he
The
comes up
Flosion?
with the Flosion. Yeah, towards the
Yeah,
end
I guess so.
Towards the end of the All Japan run, does he use it?
Does
How
he?
many? He doesn't
Yes, he
use
does
it
use
very
it in-
much, but he does use it in All Japan towards the end. But it's really the main Noah move. Like everybody knows it as the Noah move.
Yeah, the Emerald Flosion is the Noah move, right? Yeah.
But he does.
But
use
like
it
he
in All Japan.
debuted it in All Japan against June.
Yes, he did.
Because I remember the debut because he actually sets it up differently at first.
Yeah.
Like he has a whole like switching thing with his hands, and then somebody told him like, "Look, that's doing too much. Just do the fucking body slam thing." And he's just like, "Yes."
He dumps fucking Akiyama on his head, dude. Fucking nasty, nasty Flosion.
Yeah, it is. So like, yeah, like it's kind of known to be his pro wrestling Noah finish, but like it came up in All Japan. Other than that, yeah, I remember. I know he hit all three of those guys with it, so that's at least three right there, right? There's because then the first one against Taue.
First one ever is against Taue. The supposed accident, the accidental.
Right.
Yeah. And then
And then
the
like
next one is
6396 is hits Kawada.
Yep.
And he hits Kobashi with it. I've seen clips of that.
Pinned Kobashi, didn't he?
I think he did. And I don't remember if he hits it at the Dome.
That's a good question.
The Dome show where Kawada wins, I don't know if he hits it there. I know he hits it at the Noah Destiny Dome show.
Yeah, Kawada definitely kicks out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I know for a fact Kawada kicks out of it at the end.
And
But like I could think of four moments where that move gets hit. I don't know if there's more.
In Ospreay's defense, I don't think that he's used it as a transitional move. At least he has finished.
No, not necessarily.
Everybody. I think he's finished every person that he hit with it. I think the one time he got cute was Takeshita, but Takeshita didn't really like Takeshita. The way they do things with Takeshita is weird. Like sometimes he'll get hit with a finisher and his body stands up. I think they're trying to say like he's an unconscious standing person because they just kill him anyway. Like he gets hit with a finish and then
Like
they kill him.
Like he's zombified.
Yeah, because he's been hit with he got hit with like the buckshot and then he just like stood back up and they had to hit him with another one. Like sit down.
Right.
And that's happened to him several times. I feel like he got hit with Moxley's finish and he did that. He definitely did that at, like the Tiger Driver. He didn't get up after the Tiger Driver, but he got up on his knees and then Ospreay hit him with the fucking hidden blade. We finished him with that.
Okay.
That's like the cutest they got with that, and I'm still like, I'm watching you. I see you. Did he pin Brian? He pinned Brian after the Tiger Driver, right?
I think he did. Yes.
That's safe as fuck, dude.
While fucking Brian lays down and does that weird grab at his neck that freaks people out.
Fucking convulsions.
Yeah.
He's such a sick man.
I love to lie. No, I'm kidding.
I
think that's a big thing that makes people uncomfortable. Like Danielson could be selling, but there's just that quiet fear that he isn't. And they're like, "Stop fucking with me, Brian."
It's like Michael's with the back thing though. Like I feel like when I was a kid and he would do the commentary would put over the fact that he had this back surgery that ended his career. And they would almost always do the damn spot where he goes up into the corner and he gets thrown so hard that he flips up over the top. And I fucking die inside. Like I thought he was dying.
Yeah.
Michaels was fucking dying. But it made the performance so much more captivating. So I feel like Brian is just doing that. I don't have no problem with that.
I'm watching a whole comp now of Masawa hitting the damn Tiger Driver.
But one last thing we had to talk about tonight. We talked about Lashley, right, during the All In predictions.
Kind of, yeah. I guess. Fuck. Do we see him going there? I guess that's the big question.
Yeah. I think they did all the things that.
It's not the choice I wanted, but I get it.
In a world where there was no other option, right? You do what you have to do. You go to Japan. In a world where there is an option and he doesn't have to spend that much time away from his family and his wife, he's gonna do. And then he can still work Japan dates.
Of course.
So
I get that.
Yeah, it's all the obvious option. It's definitely what they're gonna do.
Yeah. I just I don't know. I don't know how he's gonna do in AEW. But I think New Japan needs that.
They need a lot. That's why I said they should just. Tony, if he was really being nice, he would just give them to Kesha and let them build him. I said
that's true too.
Like a daycare center in a Pokemon game. You just kind of drop it off and they level it up for you, and you just come back later like, oh, hey, main eventer now, huh? Very nice. Very, very nice. I hope you guys put somebody else up behind him, and he's ready to put him over now. I'm taking him back. I'm taking him back.
God, that speaking of Shane Douglas.
Oh shit.
That reminds me of the Al Snow thing. They fucking dropped Al Snow off at the ECW daycare, and they're just like, wow, this guy's really getting over. Maybe we should put the belt on him for a bit. Hey guys! How's that Al Snow we dropped off? Oh, he went up 10 levels? I think I'll be taking that back.
Very nice. I'll be taking that with me. What's this little head you got here?
This looks interesting. They're taking that too.
Jesus says, is Bobby Lashley really getting ready to do a boxing match? Because if he is, we will not be watching.
No, I don't think he is. I think that's just part of his training. I think that's what he does. He's, I mean, granted, he's had the MMA stuff, so like boxing training is just another facet of it.
I think it's, I think it'll be Kenny King, if anything, if anyone, because if you remember, that was the original.
That's the Beatdown Clan.
It's the Beatdown Clan. Although this is the Hurt Syndicate. Good name, I think. Good name. Hurt Business. Actually, a better name than the Hurt Business.
You think so?
What the fuck is the Hurt Business grammar-wise? Hurt Business. Right? What the fuck?
Sir, the things I have heard on TV in the past few weeks, the Hurt Business sounds like gold.
Right.
Okay. Do you want to talk about the Pure Fusion Collective?
Oh yeah, no. WWE word vomit things are the best. Damage.
Do you want to talk about the No Quarter Catch Crew?
What does that mean? Anyway, there's a new one too. The bad influence, the toxic influence, something.
Oh, that's JC Jane's new thing.
Yeah, the something influence. It's
really at least that's a spin-off of Toxic Attraction.
Possibly, but it's not toxic. It's the something influence.
Oh, it's not toxic. Okay. Well.
No, it's something influence.
She almost got away with it. You fucked it up.
Almost. But yeah, no, it's Hurt Syndicate sounds a lot better than that. Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, MVP, and listen, it doesn't have to be just a person has to be in there because they're a black wrestler. I think the connection is either it's just gonna be them three or they're gonna go out and get Kenny King.
I don't know. I feel like that's all that MVP was going for.
I feel like you don't need Kenny King. I feel like Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and MVP works.
I'm in a sense, but like. I feel like I don't know. What do you do with Shelton at that point? Is he doing the tag thing or is he doing singles?
He does the side thing. He doesn't need to do like a title belt. I feel like just keep him.
I'm not saying title belt, but I'm like what is? I mean, I think when you talk about stables, there's a role, and like is Shelton doing the other singles thing or is he doing the tag thing?
He's the fall guy, Greg. We don't like to say that, but he is the fall guy.
But I don't think MVP's all that interested in doing wrestling at this point.
That's what I mean. And Shelton is doing the fall guy stuff. Like Lashley's gonna roll out of the ring, get the fuck out of the way, and Shelton's gonna get up and get punched in the face. Depending on what they do, though, like I don't know if they're gonna come in as baby faces. Then that's gonna be weird. I feel like they should be heels. I don't know. We'll see. I don't see Shelton Benjamin doing anything significant on his own. At least not now.
No.
But then
the most significant thing he can do in AEW is slap Max Caster in the face.
But when they signed Jeff Jarrett, I didn't think he'd be doing anything of significance either. And now I'm like, I love Jeff Jarrett. I fucking love Jeff Jarrett. I love him more than I've ever loved him before.
You're in a weird place, John.
What is this world? Jesus says there should be a young talent in the company. I don't know. I don't know that they're interested in that. MVP made it kind of, he made it kind of clear.
What do you mean?
He was just kind of tired of fans like fantasy booking wrestlers into the Hurt Business just because they're black.
Oh,
like, what the fuck? He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I think MVP's always had a very specific vision of like what that looks like, and that's perfectly valid.
He did say, "Oh wow, you know what though? Ricochet was originally going to be in the Hurt Business, right? But they got Cedric." Yeah, MVP says he wanted Ricochet, but they didn't give him Ricochet. They gave him Cedric, and they love Cedric, but he originally wanted Ricochet. And it is interesting that they're all freed up at the same time. Actually,
yeah, like you could realize that vision.
Yeah, I didn't really think of that until I said that out loud, because that actually settles the question of what the fuck is Shelton gonna do in that spot.
Shelton and actually those two
Ricochet,
and those two stylistically would make a great tag team, right? Because like you get the technical cool and the high flyer guy.
That's cool as fuck. What the hell? What did we just do here? What kind of Frankenstein shit did we just do here? That's cool as hell. Sorry,
John, we're good at what we do.
No young talent. It's gonna be Ricochet.
Hey, John, you want to book NXT?
Let's get out of the way. Get out of the way, Sean.
Don't worry, Sean. If nothing else, John will keep in mind the legacy of your female booking.
It's funny watching CM Punk slowly trying to slide in under HBK. Like, I wonder how friendly they are about that. It's really interesting. I wonder if they work good together, because if not, it can come across like he's trying to get in there.
Which is interesting too, because I always thought, I think me and you both have, that is Punk's future in the industry.
Yeah, with the kids, that's what he wants to do.
But I also meant creative, yeah.
Oh, well, creative too, yeah. But he kind of wants it. It seems like
he specifically wants to work with the young ones.
Yeah, I hope not like that.
That's fine.
He's bad.
I have no problem with him like booking specifically just the NXT stuff. Like,
yeah, and kids trying to teach them how to be better wrestlers coming up.
Yeah, and plus, I to some degree, I could see not wanting to be involved in that big business thing up there.
Yeah, it's always about money. They stress you out. You want to die in the end.
I have to talk to fucking Nick Khan now.
We're friends. Yeah, not
fuck you. No. I think that's an interesting situation. Shout out to fucking Punk wearing the Cora Jade shirt on TV.
That's right. I forgot he did that.
I'm in the position where like I'm down with Lashley and MVP and those guys going to AEW. Gee, John, I don't know how you feel about it at this point. These signings give me anxiety because I'm just like, it's just another goddamn fish in this damn barrel, and there's so many goddamn fish.
I think that's just the way it is in both companies right now.
Yeah, to some degree.
Segue to Ricky Starks, who is seemingly going to WWE, and it sounds like it's gonna be on NXT, and it's like, what the fuck is he gonna do there? They're just gonna slide him in on top of some poor kid who could probably use the experience.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's the same with Ethan Page, who fucking sucks in this spot.
I have never been less interested in NXT.
Holy shit! I don't think anybody else has.
This is. It's not worse, but it's on par with 2.0.
It's crazy because there have been such improvement, and you know, for as much as Trick wasn't really ready to be world champion, it's NXT. It's not like it's the real world championship. I mean, like, it's the baby world championship. This is
he was over with those people.
He was over as fuck in the PC. Like, isn't that all that matters? Like, give him a fucking belt. So what? Like, come on, you know. They took that from him to give it to Ethan Page's old ass. He just came in here and took candy from the babies. and get this. The main event for NXT No Mercy.
Don't do it to me.
Ethan Page versus Joe Hendry.
Oh my god.
What the fuck is this old ass shit?
Oh my god. Oh, I want to just bash my head against this wall.
I'm sorry. It's funny as hell to me.
I would rather them just let Roxanne fucking main event another show.
She's fighting Jada Parker.
I would rather Jada Parker fucking weird ass hip fucking running hip attack main event the show than that. God, I don't give a shit if I'm a curmudgeon or an asshole or whatever. I do not give a shit about this Joe Hendry thing. It is even worse when you put him up against fucking Ethan Page.
The
least interesting part of SCU.
I'm not gonna shit on the Joe Hendry thing.
Not SCU. What were they? I'm sorry. What were they?
They were part of American Top Team.
Yes, they had Men of the Year.
Man of the Year. There you go.
I'm sorry. I mistook Scorpio Sky's tag teams. I'm sorry. What is better, Ethan Page versus Joe main event or Ethan Page versus Sean Spears? I would rather Sean Spears. I would rather sit through Sean Spears than Ethan Page because you know what? At least there is the 1% possibility in my mind that Sean Spears will pull out a chair and just brain him. And that is a resolution I could be happy with. There is no happiness out of the Joe Hendry and Ethan Page match.
Here's my thing with Joe Hendry, right? Take your fucking time. Take this 15 minutes that WWE is giving you and
enjoy it
all the way because you squeeze the fucking sponge all the way out. Take the world title reign that you're gonna get and run with it because I don't know. I always feel like the shelf life of things like this, I believe, like these things don't last very long because they run it into the ground.
Right, and eventually the meme dies.
Personally, I'm not a fan of it, but I don't shit on it because I can see how it's catchy and people really like it, and I don't want them to be mad at me for shitting on the thing they like. I just don't like it. And it's just funny to me. That actually has nothing to do with my issue here. It's just funny to me that these old men are here main eventing NXT together, like, and it's not even like the super indie NXT days where it was like they were maybe the older NXT wrestlers were still like two of the hottest fucking wrestlers in the world, so you knew you were gonna get a fire ass main event.
Is this Ethan Page's first main event?
No, they did didn't they do a fatal 4-way at the when he won? Oh, so then this is first defense as a main event, I think. Yeah.
It's kind of funny to me that it's with a TNA guy.
He's over as fuck.
Like you got out, but like you didn't.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the reason, right? They wanna have Ethan Page and Josh Alexander, right? That's the thing they want to do on TV.
Okay.
Josh Alexander is currently feuding with Joe Hendry.
I like Josh Alexander.
Josh Alexander and Ethan Page used to be the North.
Yes, they did.
They want to do that damn North reunion on NXT.
It's almost like Ethan Page was always better as somebody's partner.
That's crazy how full circle that is. Although I will laugh. I'm gonna laugh at anybody who really is like, look at how Ethan Page is being used so much better, because I've seen that. I'm like, they brought him into NXT and gave him the NXT championship. Like, what are you talking about? Anyway, Jesus has brought up the Punk downfall.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'll get right to this. But do they mean better than AEW?
Yeah.
Is this the alternative of like if Ricochet showed up and became Ring of Honor champion, and you said, "Look how much better they're using Ricochet"? Like, no, that's not how that fucking works.
Could you imagine?
They're both the same thing, and they're both not better.
Oh my god! Could you imagine the discourse? Could you imagine the things people would say? Anyway, and that was the original plan for Claudio. Remember? He was
supposed to come in and do the Ring of Honor stuff, right? And
he's gonna help build that brand or whatever plans they had back then. But
the Punk downfall. What is the Punk downfall?
The fucking trash that he's been delivering on WWE television, promo wise, it's poopy. I know I mean, for me anyway, compared to the things that I've enjoyed from CM Punk, not trying to talk about it as somebody that just doesn't like CM Punk. I mean, I know when CM Punk is good, he's good, and I never deny that. I've never been like something sucks from CM Punk when it's great. I thought the SummerSlam match, he looked gassed up, but I know they told a great story. My issue with his performance, microphone-wise on WWE TV, is that it's this neutered corporate version of Punk, and it's funny to see him that way when, you know, his entire career was built on him being anti this, but he's so happy with everything that's going on, he's got no reason to be anti anything. So yeah, all fall in line and everything.
I think we talked about this.
Yeah,
I think we talked about this a few episodes ago. Like there is nothing at this moment other than the target being Drew McIntyre for Punk to be angry at.
Yeah. So
because he kind of got what he wanted.
Just kind of smiling.
It's like, this place is better now. That's good. This is what I wanted. Aren't we all very happy to know that this place is better now?
It's like, that sucks. We want the trauma back. No.
You know what this reminds me of an interview, and I remember it being like a fucked up thing to say, but I remember it. I think it was the guitarist from Disturbed who was just like, David Draymond's writing is so fueled by the personal things in life that, like, as much as I want David to be to have a better life, I don't know where the band would be.
Hey, Sue says it's also about this damn promo. I mean, with this damn storyline with the bracelet with Drew. You know what it is? It's funny to me watching.
I don't mind the bracelet story, but I think you just have to accept that, like that has a personal meaning.
I get it, but here's my thing that makes me laugh. Here's the thing that makes me feel like Punk. Something about Punk. There's a step lost here, and I don't know where it is. I don't know how it happened. I don't know if it's social media related. I think that may be, but there's been this criticism about the bracelet.
Okay.
The bracelet part of the storyline, and it's kind of because when you boil it down, they're having this big old feud over a bracelet, right? But there is the personal value and everything that is important to Punk.
Yeah.
And I feel like the people who have the issue with the bracelet thing, they know that, right? I don't think that their issue lies in the meaning. I think part of it is funny because they don't really want to like it, and part of it is
They just
also
don't want
that
to.
it actually is the bracelet, and it actually has been a main focal point. They're doing something similar on SmackDown with the Ula Fala, right? The fucking
Oh!
right?
So I joked to you guys, and I've heard this from other sources, which validated me. The two most important championships right now in the company are CM Punk's bracelet and the Ula Fala.
I don't know why, but the Ula Fala thing it's come across a lot better than the bracelet, and it's probably because
It's probably because the Ula Fala was already over.
Yeah, there's that, and I was gonna say, is it a visual thing? One, the Ula Fala is established. Two, the bracelet appears childish in a way, and Punk doesn't have kids, so it's like it's got his wife and his dog's name on it. You know, like who made that for you? Your dog? Like, you know, like a fan? You know, like there's hits. There's bits and pieces of it missing to make it a whole for some fans. And Punk comes on television, and this is when I know he's missing the step.
Which, before you go, I do say I think it's interesting in that where it's like I think that is an interesting mileage may vary thing, because I know that there are people who are just like, how do you say, zealot. They're people who feel very strongly about their pets, John.
Listen, I understand, right?
Very fucking strongly.
I don't think that's something that's easy to get across on television as a daughter, you know, or a son.
We can't be friends if you aren't petting my dog. Kind of crazy.
I get that too. Like, I understand that there's a lot of like pet parents that are like, this is the child I'm gonna have, and you know what? That is a nice, responsible decision.
And I bet you those people relate to this very well.
I'm sure that they do, but in the end, I don't think that it's connecting with some people. The idea that some fan made him a bracelet and Drew McIntyre took it and it got CM Punk so mad. But here's the thing that made me laugh. Punk comes on Raw and he gets on the microphone and he after all this discourse, he tries to explain the bracelet on TV. I'm like, no, he's lost a fucking step. He's out here explaining the joke. He's literally like read the things he saw online and decided that I'm gonna go to Raw and explain this bracelet. Maybe they don't get it. No, it's
sure.
Not. No, like so he's on TV like, and this bracelet means everything to me. And all he did was invite everybody now to make fun of this shitty ass fucking promo where he explains the damn bracelet.
Which you have noted on several occasions. The downfall of almost every meaning is like explaining it.
Always. I mean, that's classic, right? You don't explain the joke. You don't reveal the magic trick, right?
Yeah.
If it's not connecting with people, then you try to figure out how to make it connect with people. And by explaining it to them is certainly not gonna fucking make it. It will never make it connect with them.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, you made it worse. And I feel like that's the kind of thing that makes me think Punk has lost his step. PG Punk. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's the kind of thing. So this week he comes out, and again, here's the thing that makes him bring up social media. Besides that bracelet thing, this week he calls himself the Taylor Swift for men. Why did he say that out loud? That was a joke because you're so, self-destructive, and there's a Taylor Swift song about being self-destructive. That was not like a legitimate thing. Like, nobody was saying that like for real. Like, why'd you say that? What are you saying? Like, oh, this stuff sucks. This is the kind of stinky stuff that I'm like, this is not This is not
Dude,
good.
but the bracelet thing was also very real.
The bracelet, he really did get that from a fan.
No, I'm talking about the Taylor Swift bracelets.
Oh yeah. Oh god. Is that that makes it? That actually makes it.
There are people who there are fans that trade and share bracelets from the Eras tour. So there is a real connection between the bracelet gimmick and Taylor Swift.
Oh my god.
Yes. Yes. You had no idea about that, did you?
That is hilarious because that makes it worse. He's more Katy Perry. Oh my god.
What did Katy Perry do to just get lumped into this?
Katy Perry's dumb. That's what she did.
Is she? Okay.
This dumb bitch.
Is this about the new video she put out?
She makes this damn. It's got to be satire. Like, there's no way she did this.
She claims it was supposed to be satire.
But what kind of satire is that? Like, what part of that is funny? I'm gonna make a women empowerment song with like a fucking famous womanizer, and like as a producer, that's satire. Like, that's funny to you? Like, what's your message? Like, I'm gonna make money with this piece of shit. Like, what? Like, anyway, that's dumb.
I didn't understand what it was until somebody like mentioned that he was involved with the Kesha thing. I was like, oh, that's not good.
No, it isn't good anyway. I
don't pay attention to pop music, guys. Like, this all confused me really quickly.
Because of all the pop culture stuff I cover, the music obviously ends up there. I don't cover music because I think it's too subjective, and I don't want to cover all of it, but I don't just want to cover the music I listen to because then like it's really urban and it don't make the algorithm's gonna be like, what do you want me to do here? I'm sorry, algorithm. It's like anyway. Yeah, fuck Katy Perry. I mean, speaking on CM Punk, he mentioned that he would be bringing some surprises with him to Chicago.
I'm sending you pictures, by the way. Don't hate me.
He's going to be bringing some surprises to Chicago NXT, the first ever NXT on the CW network.
Okay.
And so, oh gosh, Greg has sent me photos of the girls sharing. Not little girls; these are grown women. I'll just share the pictures of that. I'll just share the pictures so that everyone sees what I'm looking at. Fuck that! I'm not. So Greg sent me this photograph of these two grown women trading bracelets.
Friendship bracelets from the Eras tour.
Yes, at this Taylor Swift concert, and
I am not the one who's quote gets the Taylor Swift craze, but it's whatever.
Jesus, get the fuck out of here. But yeah, no, Jesus, you know what it is, man. They're gonna be like, "What do you want to hear? What do you, the shade room, or what do you, pop culture? Pick one." It's just the algorithm. That's how it works. But
listen, if pro wrestling finds itself crossing over with pop culture, that's kind of the point, right? That's why I keep getting these fucking Metro Boomin ads.
That's what they're trying for anyway. But yeah, so CM Punk, I guess the Taylor Swift connection there being that there's bracelets, it's still funny. I liked it better. I liked it better when there wasn't so much emphasis on the bracelet. I think it was funny. I think it was cute that he picked it up. I wish that he would have thrown it in a river. And so no, but I mean that and I don't mean that in I wish the bracelet was gone kind of way. I mean narratively, I wish he would.
You want him to do something heinous?
Yeah, why the fuck is he wearing it and kissing? Look, I have it still, CM Punk. I still have it. It seems like it's leading to a bracelet on a pole match. What are we doing? So I get that. I get why people are like, this is dumb. It's over a fucking bracelet because they've put too much emphasis on the bracelet. And CM Punk trying to explain it puts even more emphasis on the bracelet. CM Drew should have set it on fire. He should have thrown it in the river. He should have eaten it. He would have eaten it. That would have been badass.
The indigestion would be worth it, Punk.
And that would be so badass.
I can't wait to shoot this out of my bowels.
Yo, for real. I'll send you a picture when it comes out the other side. Oh, fuck. Anyway.
Oh, my God.
Punk says he's bringing a surprise with him to Chicago, and it makes a lot of sense
That it's Cole Cabana. No.
Ricky Starks is going to make his NXT debut on the very first episode of NXT on the CW network. Actually, it makes a little more sense.
I say we give him
Ricky Starks.
I say that we give him the rejected first Nation Rock song.
I just think I think it might not only be Ricky Starks. I think it I think he might bring
He brings in Danhausen?
Well, he wishes, but he fucking wishes. But no, Daniel Garcia. Might, I don't know, maybe. There was a report that he was really conflicted on what to do, like, and I imagine he feels
Danny was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he feels conflicted to his loyalty to AEW, what they've done to him, and he's putting over the feeling and all that. I'm sure that
makes sense.
That. And the idea that he could be like the face of NXT on the CW network, you know, like, how do you come to terms with, like, what do I do?
That's that weird thing I was talking about, where where the point was made, yes, that Jordan did run the course, but it's like, do I want to be on top here or middle there, right?
Yeah.
That's a real decision you got to think about, because even though it's WWE, being stuck in the middle and eventually lost in the middle is detrimental.
And it's NXT too. It's another thing. Like, you're essentially going down a peg. Like, you were on main television, and now you're going to be playing with babies. I still feel like fucking around with the contract at this time. I'd have fucked him out of a Wembley match. I feel like
I get that.
He should just sign that shit. I would have just signed it. 3 years.
Was he not there last year?
Not that I remember, but you know what's fucking funny about last year's card is that I think it actually kind of was nothing compared to you had the 6-man, right? They had that Kenny what was it, the Elite versus the Don Callis family or something like that.
Sure.
Fuck me, if Daniel Garcia had a match on that card, and I don't remember it, and that's
I'm gonna look it up right now. I can isolate the pay-per-view, so if it didn't, it won't show up.
Thank you. But fuck, this year he would have had, say, a larger part for sure, no matter what.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But see, Ricky Starks in WWE. What do you think? How does this work out?
Honest answer, he's too small.
That is a big deal, isn't it? It's still Triple H.
Yeah, I think I know it's a different WWE, and to some degree that's true, right? But I do think that,
in some ways, yeah.
In some ways, yes. In some ways, it is a different company, but in a lot of ways, it's the same company. And there are a lot of things that are just going to be difficult to parse through. Ricky Starks being a very small guy, very charismatic guy, but very small. Like, here's my exact thing, right? Who was the other guy they brought in that they did almost the same thing? You would not surprise me if Ricky was just a mouthpiece.
Oh shit, that's right. They wanted to do that with Adam Cole.
Yes, they wanted to do it with Adam Cole. They essentially did it with Leo Rush.
That's crazy. You're right. You're absolutely right. Oh, Ricky's gonna be a manager.
I
He's
wouldn't
100% gonna be a manager.
I'm telling you, if that happens, I said it, and fuck off. I would not be surprised because like I don't know what, especially with like what he had 2 neck issues.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's the role for him. And suffice to say, I would not be surprised if in 5 years he's another Corey Graves.
You know, it's crazy. While you were saying it, I was definitely about to say, like, Ricky Stark's about to be the greatest WWE commentator in all in history. That's
You know?
like, he's coming in to be the greatest commentator they've ever had.
And in the end, Ricky wins. He's got a job.
Yeah, he's got a job for life if he's good enough.
Yeah. Yeah. We were watching SmackDown, me and the girlfriend, and I just had a thought. Like, I cannot, and this just might be my memory. It's not great all the time. I cannot remember the last time the booth was 2 former wrestlers since like Bobby and Gorilla.
Yeah, it's 'cause they always have wrestlers doing the color.
There's always one wrestler and one like clearly one broadcaster guy, and then like when I saw it was Corey and Barrett, I was just like, oh, they both wrestled. That's interesting.
You know what's fucked up? Corey Graves was essentially the lead there. And
that is so weird. That was weird to me too. When I noticed it, it stood out to me. I was like, wait, Corey's the fucking play-by-play guy.
And I know that he thought that was going to be a ladder for him, career-wise. And they
chaos is a ladder, John.
They hired the fucking dude from ESPN and made him a fucking lead announcer straight off the back.
Yeah.
And then a couple of days later, fucking Corey Graves tweeted like, "Oh, and then sometimes the business doesn't love you back."
It's Joe, dog. The business does not love a lot of people, not nearly as much as they love it.
That's so fucked up. He really thought he was gonna be like a real lead commentary guy, and they were like, You're just a wrestler.
You see those movies and those TV shows where like the guy's just like, oh man, someone's out. Now it's time for my promotion. And he's just bring up a guy who's never worked there before.
It's my time to shine.
Hey, I brought in this guy from the outside. Son of a bitch!
What do you mean? Oh God! Because
I'm starting to take joy in Corey Graves' smudging.
They said
snubbing, rather.
They said Michael Cole is moving to SmackDown, right?
Yes.
So then that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. He's on his last. He's on his last days with Raw, and he just said goodbye to fucking what's his face? Pat McAfee.
That means that Corey's going back to
NXT.
Corey's going back to play-by-play.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's no space for him anywhere else.
You mean back to color?
Back to color. Yeah, back to color. Yeah. That's
wait, are they doing the 3-man booth? Where's Wade going?
I don't know what's happening to Wade. That's fucked up. Right?
Who's working with Tessitore?
I hope it's. That's a good question because Pat McAfee's leaving.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's Wade.
Wade goes to Raw and then Corey just maybe.
That makes sense. Hey, Sue sent me a screenshot of one of the girls from TJPW. She tweeted something.
I'm sorry. Starks on commentary when he was commentating on Rampage and Dark is Nasty. Is that like a good nasty or a bad nasty? I'm not sure.
He was on commentary on Rampage. You're right.
Was it a good nasty or a bad nasty though?
He was good. He got good.
Okay.
He got good.
I couldn't tell if Jesus was complimenting him or shaming him.
Yeah, the Google Translate got her good. She Haru from TJPW.
Oh no!
No. Oh gosh.
Oh no.
it's gonna be real funny to see. It's gonna be real funny to see what's up with Ricky Starks on NXT though. But I guess that's
you gotta do it fun.
it's yeah. Ricky Starks versus Ridge Holland. It's gonna go hard.
No,
Oh, I can't wait.
no, another one.
No, actually, Ricky's got neck issues, right? Keep him the
Yeah.
fuck away.
Yeah. Not another one.
Keep him the fuck away from Ridge Holland. Oh, that's great.
Oh no! Someone
That's
make the
great.
pain stop.
But yeah, that's the last 7 days in professional wrestling, and of course Dirt Sheet Radio is always on throughout the 7 days. You can catch us live after every single show that's on during the week. After Raw, we got a post show. After NXT on Tuesdays, after Dynamite on Wednesdays, after TNA on Thursdays, after SmackDown on Fridays, and of course this show, the Dirt Sheet Radio flagship, is live overnights on
Here
Thursday
on the
morning.
mothership.
On the mothership, yeah. And available on demand Thursday morning for you to just listen to on your way to work and all that shit. But as well as on Saturdays, this Saturday will be off. On Sunday we have the AEW All In post-show rewind, but you also have the NXT Level Up adventure and 3NT Wrestling. That's all on the Dirt Sheet Radio Network. We're always on, baby. But shit, that's us, man. I'd like to thank you guys for joining us with a graphic that says thank you. You guys have a good night.
Please be aware, if you do catch us at a show, we will be handing out DSR friendship bracelets.
Oh yeah, and then